Good morning, Tradeify Nation, and welcome to another edition of Tradeify TV. It is Thursday, June 5th, 2025. It is 60 minutes before the New York opening bell, which means it's time for us to help get you ready for your trading day. We have got a fantastic show for you today. We have an outstanding guest, which I'm going to let my fellow host tell you about. And so let me pass it over to, my right as I'm looking at it, my left, as it's set up, Mr. White Tea himself, Swiss Nick. Nick, how are we doing today, sir?
Very good. Good morning, Matt. Good morning, Miriam. I'm glad I have the right name today. Yeah, really looking forward to it. If you meant me to announce the guest, I'm gonna do it really quick. We're gonna have Tanja Trades on later today. She's coming on at 9:45, which is gonna be very, very interesting. So stay tuned for that. And of course, as usual, to my right, I got the one and only Matcha Mami. Good morning.
Good morning, guys. Welcome, Tradeify Nation. Thank you all for being with us today, bright and early. It is always great to be spending the morning with you guys. It's really, really early where I'm at. I'm on the West Coast, so it is 5:35 in the morning today, and we are just ready. We got our matcha, we got our white teas, and we got smiles on our faces. So we're ready to be here with you guys to share the market news and go over what we're looking at today. So if you haven't already, though, I do want you guys to do me a quick favor. Go ahead and like this stream, subscribe, and make sure that you guys are notified for future episodes, because this isn't it. I mean, we got a lot in store for you today, but we got a lot more planned for you guys in the future. So make sure that you are locked in with us each morning. And
you're a beast, Miriam. You're a beast for being up so early every single day.
I'm not as much as a beast as Nick was yesterday for running a half marathon right before.
The other Nick, not me.
Not this Nick. We got a little Nicky in the background.
Well, notice he's not here today after running the marathon. Yes, I'm just saying,
he's not here today.
I ran a 15K this morning. I ran a 15K this morning, but not a half marathon.
My bad.
Oh, okay. Well. I mean, is that even worth getting out of bed to run just a 15K? Yeah, exactly. I mean, come on, man. I'm surprised you don't do this show from your treadmill.
Well, I should. The problem is I can't actually set up my camera in a way that I still can film myself. I would have to switch to my FaceTime cam from my MacBook, and that would suck quality-wise. So I'll just sit.
Absolutely. All right. So if we kind of get into the charts a little bit here, we'll get everyone kind of ready for the day. Two sort of technical glitch notes. First of all, Tradeify is doing some behind the scenes work on their dashboard on the site. So if you're having trouble accessing that today, just know that it's planned. Everything's fine. You can still trade. There's no issues with trading. There shouldn't be any issues with connecting to whatever platform you use to place your trades. Just know the dashboard is getting a little bit of a behind the scenes facelift. So just bear with us on that. I think that should be back up in the next few hours. And also, for some reason, as I talked to these guys and I've checked everything behind the scenes, I have no idea. I'm getting delayed data on NYMEX and COMEX this morning. I just went into behind the scenes trading view. Everything's fine. Everything is on. I don't know why that is. My ES and NQ is coming through in real time though, so we'll be able to. So if I need something from the CL and GC, I'm gonna have to defer to my fellow hosts on this one. But as far as the NQ guys. And us being predominantly NQ traders, this 21,850, we sort of built a little bit of a double top up here. So the next move, guys, the next move today, I think is going to be very crucial. As far as the ES goes, what a shock. We're banging our head on 6,000. But I'm going to turn it over to Miss Trendline here with Miriam. Miriam, we've got this strong trend line. I know you have this one drawn too. And we are getting into crunch time for this trend line. We're either going to have to make a decision. It may be, I don't want to say today, although we'd love a big move today, but it's crunch time. If it's either got to break above 6,000, probably today or tomorrow, or it's got to pull back maybe as far as 5,900 to get another run up at that. What are you seeing on your ES chart this morning?
Yeah, ES still that 6,000 level, like you mentioned. NASDAQ, same level that you had mentioned, that 850, 842 area. We're still kind of in this weird range. And, I think for bulls to prove it to us, I want to see us really get above this 6,000 level, which I have some strong conviction we might do today. We kind of flirted with it yesterday. We've been flirting with it over these past, several days on ES. So I really want to see us get above this. Now, this is the 1 hour chart I have on ES on the right here. Let me just make this bigger for you guys so you can see it. But we really have this zone, and this zone is between 6,000 and about 6,015, 6,016. And this zone actually comes back from, and bear with me here while my charts get a little less crazy here, but this kind of comes back from this area back in February. So this is a zone that we have back in February that we still need to get back up above. Now, if we get back up above this, we do kind of have room to this 660 area. And of course, all-time highs are not until 61, 65. So of course, we always have that upside room and we have those levels there. But I don't really see any major significant levels until this 61.35, and then obviously all-time highs on ES. So if bulls can really get above this zone, I think we really have, quite some room above this level. But again, this is kind of what I'm looking at for us to, get above and stay above. And it's been hard for bulls to really get above this level. For any downside moves, this is kind of what we talked about yesterday on ES, similar to NASDAQ. I mean, we have a few trend lines here. This bottom trend line that I have is a strong trend line. It's a 1 hour trend line. And then, this one that I have here is, I believe, a 4 hour trend line. So they're both strong trend lines. And the stronger the trend line, the harder it is for it to break. Now, we are still respecting these trend lines, which again, for me, I would want to see a break below at least yesterday's low, which on ES is going to be 970. On the NASDAQ, this level here is going to be that 700 level. And as you can see, we've really kind of wicked above those levels from yesterday. And then obviously when we got the news at 5:30 my time, but 9:30 Eastern, we got we're still holding the 710, 700 level on NASDAQ. So this is kind of what I'm looking at for us to break to the downside on both futures, but still kind of in this range. Yesterday we made this low sitting at 642 on the NASDAQ. So if we can break 642, I think we have some room down to at least the mid 550s. And we can make that move down. But as far as today, I really want to see if bulls have the conviction. I think that's what I'm going to be really watching for today. If we can get above the 6,000 level, I'll definitely be watching for potential longs. So I don't want to say I'm bullish, but there's still some conviction that needs to happen from the bulls. But I really do want to see if we can push above that 6,000.
Yeah, I was waiting for you to actually just say you're bullish, because then I was going to tell them to clip that, and we're going to save that.
And I was actually just about to say, like, no matter how bullish the market is, Baron Say will always have an opportunity for a short. I know that.
Absolutely. What are you looking at, Nick?
For me right now, if we go to my charts, first of all, London session today was juicy. I caught 2 25-pointers. I can break them down after if we want. It was literally like 2 25-point trades with 0 drawdown, like literally 0 ticks, even straight to target, which is what I love here. But the 2 things that I'm looking at right now, we still have the previous month high, which is sitting here at what's that? 21,859, 860. That's from last Thursday. So that's certainly a strong zone we went into that zone yesterday today in the morning at 4:30. That was through the London session. I'll break down that session in a second here. So that is certainly a strong zone of resistance that I'm looking to see if we break through or not. Before then, not looking to see any upward moves here above that zone. But on to the downside, we still have that strong level from yesterday. We bounced here on Tuesday. We bounced here on Wednesday, which was yesterday at 10 a.m. Right? So I'm trading in between these two zones, or we're trading in between these two zones right now. And I want to see either a breakout to the downside or a break to the upside, obviously. But to be fair, since tomorrow is NFP, we probably are going to bounce still in between those two zones. So it's more of a range kind of day is what I'm looking, or like what I'm expecting. But let's actually, no, we don't have background Nick here today. I was actually just about to say, let's bring up a poll to vote if people are bullish, bearish, or sideways. But maybe we can have Drew, our producer, who's doing an amazing job, by the way. Maybe we can have him pull one up and then move from there. So chat, we're actually going to do this. We're going to have a poll. I just got confirmation from Drew. Are you bullish, bearish, or sideways? We're going to have a poll coming up here in a second. Make sure to vote on that. I'm really interested to see. Miriam, you said you're not bullish, but you see bullish setups. Like, are you sideways like I am, or what's the deal here?
I want to believe in the Bulls. I really, really do. I'm rooting for them.
A likely story.
I really am rooting for the Bulls. Like this 6,000 level, it's just been, they've been getting shut down by the Bears at the 6,000 on ES. And, you know, NASDAQ, I would say, is a little bit of the stronger one. We've seen a little bit more of an uptrend. I feel like ES, when you pull, you know, the 4-hour charts and kind of compare the two, NASDAQ has definitely had more of an uptrend, whereas ES has just kind of been staying sideways ever since I see June 3rd. I mean, well, June 3rd wasn't very long ago, but you know, we've been in this sideways action, whereas NASDAQ has kind of just been making these upward movements. So, you know, it's 6,000 level. I really am rooting for the Bulls at this point to push above it. I think if we do get above it and we sustain it, you know, I don't want to see a wick above and then, you know, just get shot down. I really want to see us make a strong move above it and hold. And again, this zone is going to be that 650. Once we get above 615, then I'll really have conviction towards the upside, and maybe we'll see me take a long today.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. You know, we're kind of in this consolidation, guys, and we have been for quite some time. We, you know, a little move up, a little move down, et cetera, et cetera. But we're kind of at a weird place on the calendar right now, right? So, you know, June. We'll be wrapping up the first half of the year here in the coming weeks. So we're out of earnings season, and we have several weeks till major earnings are back. I don't think when is it? A Fed meeting is still a week or two away, and so we don't have that going on. We don't have a ton of. So this week has been noticeable in the absence of Trump. He hasn't done, I think, any public events this week. And so there hasn't been as many opportunities for him to talk about tariffs in front of the camera. He's been, you know, truthing, tweeting, whatever it's called over there. But it's been conspicuous in the absence of statements regarding tariffs outside of, I mean, we're at this point where, like, you know, Bessent, the Treasury guy, or any of their statements don't matter. Right, like what was it last week? The trade rep got caught live on CNBC while Trump contradicted him via tweet. So we're not seeing that this week. We don't really have any tariff news. We don't have any earnings news. The economic news, like tomorrow, we'll have non-farm, obviously, but the JOLTS payroll already kind of may be priced in whatever's coming tomorrow with the ADP and the JOLTS. And so I don't know. We're just in this kind of this weird part of the economic calendar where I don't know if we have any major catalysts at least scheduled. Now, listen, Trump could walk to Marine One later on the way to one of his places, and somebody asked him about tariffs, and he said, we're going to 500%, right? Like this stuff can come up at any point. But as far as sort of scheduled things, we just don't have a whole lot going on right now. And so to me, you know, we're seeing a consistently mean reverting, days. I mean, today is already an example from the Asian session to the European session, pop drop, and now we're just sort of hugging VWAP. We just had a little bit of a move down about right before the show started on some economic news, and it immediately retraces. So we're pinning the VWAP right now. The good news is we still have about a little under 45 minutes to the New York Open, and who knows, Nick, we could see another 200-point pop at the Open for no fucking reason whatsoever.
Who knows? Also, I want to address one little thing here. I know you addressed it already, Matt, but Benny Solis in the chat is asking, anyone else having Tradeify identify dashboard issues. My dashboard does not show any accounts or username password. Don't worry about it. The dashboard is currently down. That's correct, but you're still able to trade, and it should be fixed later today. So no worries at all. It's a normal thing right now. Just make sure, like when you log in to trade, there should be zero issues at all. Sorry, just wanted to throw that out there so people are not
Yeah,
confused.
absolutely, absolutely.
I see. That's Miriam's chart. You're doing something. What are you doing?
Yeah, I'm just, I like seeing patterns. I like looking at smaller time frames. And I know Matt likes starting at the okay.
Whoa, what happened?
There we go.
There we go.
Well, just broke that.
So much for the 200-point ripper out of nowhere. That was great.
That's awesome.
Wow.
That was great.
Holy cow.
That's actually amazing.
That was perfect timing. Like literally,
Yeah.
Matt.
So anyway,
All right, what happened?
Okay, we've got the news. Xi and Trump are holding a call right now.
Oh, there we go.
Well, look at that 6,015 area on ES just rejecting. We also are rejecting this 900 level on the NASDAQ. So now we have our new levels, guys. I mean, this area, this zone, this is why we have these, right? This is why, we look at these zones. Obviously, we had a fundamental catalyst come out, but technicals are still in play, right? This is why we have these. So make sure that you are aware of this zone. This is going to be the new level now that I'm looking at, since we are we haven't obviously closed this candle yet, but this is kind of what I look at, right? This is what keeps my levels in check. I look at these levels and I say, all right, this is still in play. So I want to see us now get out of this zone. I think this is a very indicative sign that this is a strong zone. So now I gotta see that bulls are gonna be serious about keeping us above this. And we're not just gonna wick and have like a top wick for the day and that's it. That was just the conviction, all the conviction had from the bulls. So we'll see. We'll see what we get.
Absolutely.
Someone sneezed though. Someone definitely sneezed.
I see J.Brat in the chat, right on cue. Matt, Trump hasn't made any news this week. That's right. Yeah. So as soon as I say that, now and we put the headline down at the bottom. This is coming from Chinese state media. So I think everything with a grain of salt, and let's see what comes out of it. Right now, all we know is that either they held a call, they're holding a call, whatever. And keep in mind, Chinese state media is literally controlled by the Chinese government, so it's only going to be putting out things that the Chinese government wants out there. So we'll see, and we'll see what happens. What happens with this move. But guys, if you weren't in a trade when this is on again, so there's many different types of news, right? There's scheduled news, and there's expected news. When major, like tomorrow, if the non-farm payrolls, that's a pretty major factor. If it comes in exactly as expected, not only is that scheduled news, but it's expected news. This is unexpected and unscheduled, and we don't know what's going on behind the scenes. So if you weren't in a trade when this popped, now is the time to just do this. I don't like to sit on your hands. I think that's kind of weird, and it implies you don't have a plan. But I just kind of fold my hands like this, and we're just going to wait for whatever it is to play out. Guys, there will be if this is legit, there's going to be plenty of opportunities to get in. If it reverses, there's going to be opportunities. This is just one of those situations, guys, especially because it came right at the end of a previous 5-minute candle. If your 5-minute candles like me, you just need to just kind of wait this out. Don't chase this, because the spreads right now are insane, right? Like you could be right on direction and just get slammed out. Like there were people that if let's say they were long and they had their stop or limit order already in, what might have been a big win could have gotten triggered as a really shitty market order. So that big of a pump out of nowhere on non-scheduled news, you just got to let it wait out. Okay, so just let it wait out, guys.
Absolutely. Yeah, this is one of those where you don't want to get caught. And this is why it's so important to have stops, right? This is why you don't just want to like jump into any trade, completely blind and naked and exposed, right? You want to make sure that you are protected at all times, even if you are in the profits, right? Make sure that, you have your stop set at break even or whatever it looks like for you, right? As long as you're protected, so you don't get completely just demolished by a candle like this. So that's why it's important to set stops, guys.
Who's guilty though of you guys? Because I am guilty. Who's guilty of chasing these kind of moves when you started out?
Oh, we all did. Come on.
Good. I don't feel as bad now.
Look, I've always said the worst thing I think that can happen to a new trader is like one of their first trades, they catch something like this, right? And
Mhm.
like, and I mean, when I say catch this, I mean they enter after the news and after the volatility begins, not before, right? Like if you were long on another system and it popped right in your, hey, congratulations, take the win, pat yourself on the back for a solid trade plan, and protect your capital for the rest of the day. But yeah, we've all done this. I said that, well, up until very recently, one of the most lucrative trades I made was chasing a small cap stock, and I made $5,600, and I believe it was 17 seconds. I wrote it down.
Oh, wow.
But but I chased it. It was up 80% for the day, and I chased it. I mean, you want to talk about a moron, right? And so I did that, and I felt great the rest of the day. But guess what? I gave all that shit back over the course of the next 3 sessions, every dime of it, because I just we're up 80%. We got another. I think it was a bio cap. I want to say it was AQ something, and it went from like $8 to 150, and then like back down to 15 over the course of like 3 or 4 days. This was like 7-8 years ago, maybe longer. But yeah, so guys, don't chase these moves. You're not in anything now. We've just got to see how the markets react to this, and I would expect since the initial report of this was from Chinese state media, we're going to need some sort of confirmation from the White House that this happened, when it happened, what was said, et cetera, et cetera. So it's good that this happens well over a half hour before the New York Open. So let's just see how the markets digest everything, and we'll kind of go for there.
I'm just laughing because I was literally drawing this trend line. It just breaks it. Like,
remember, I even asked, like, hey, you're doing something. What are you doing? You said, I'm drawing this trend line, and a boom, pop.
Didn't even give me a chance.
Oh, that was too fast. Miriam, you moved the market. You're a market maker now.
Apparently, yeah. Apparently, my voice makes the market go up. So I guess I'll just continue to talk for all you bulls out there. But
also, everybody watching right now, of course, today we're going to have more giveaways. Besides bringing Tanja Trades on at 9:45, we're going to have some giveaways. But in order to do those giveaways, make sure that you actually like the stream right now and you're subscribed, because that's the only way how you can actually win later down the road. Make sure to like it right now and subscribe to the channel so you get to win some free accounts today. It's going to be nice. It's going to be very nice.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say which accounts yet, but we have a lot to give away. It's going to be good.
Oh yeah. We got Tanja Trades too, guys. We got Tanja Trades coming on in less than an hour, it seems like. So, right? Or I don't know. My timing is off.
Yeah.
I keep looking. It throws me off because I look at my time and I'm like, oh, it's 5:56, and then I have to do this little calculation in my head. All right, add 3, 1, 2, carry the 1. So my timing is completely off. But I think we're actually having her come on at 9:45 Eastern.
We do. And also, just to clear this up, because we just started to stream as well on Twitter. If you're watching this on Twitter right now, the giveaways are on YouTube only, okay? So you have to like the stream on YouTube, and you have to put the keywords on YouTube, in the YouTube chat. Just keep that in mind if you're watching on Twitter right now.
Absolutely, yeah. First day live on X. So, hi, Elon.
Oh man.
Pretty sure he's watching, yeah.
Yeah.
He actually texted me earlier and asked if we're doing the show today, so.
Okay, well that's good. That's good. Tell him I want to get on one of those rockets.
On the rocket or inside the rocket?
Well, yeah, in it. I don't want to. That was one of those old George Carlin bits where he does a whole thing on airplane announcements, and he's like, when they tell you to get on the plane, he says, "F you, I'm getting in the plane." So, guys, with background Nick out today, so we talked before the show, so I'm handling some of the headlines that are going to pop up on your screen today. So I'm paying very close attention to my news feed for anything that comes up that can be helpful. And I just see this one, and I'm curious your reaction to it. It says Amazon to test humanoid robots for package delivery with Rivian electric vans. That scares the shit out of me. I don't know about you guys. Like, there's going to be a robot driving an electric van that's going to like hit me and my dog when we're out walking. Like, that's.
How do you even get insurance?
To be fair, they probably can't drive any worse than the Amazon driver who comes down my street.
Exactly. I don't know how you insure something like that. I mean, do you now have to add?
Well, that's been the big holdup with a lot of the robo taxis and everything. It's who is liable when not if they cause an accident.
Exactly. Well, there already have been with those, what are they called? Waymos?
I think
Wackos?
so. Or whatever.
Those self-driving
Whatever.
cars? Whatever they're called, the ones that they literally will pick you up with no driver. I've never ridden in one of them. I think they rolled them out in like San Francisco and some of the bigger cities, but they've already had a few crashes, you know, obviously naturally, but yeah, it's like who's liable for that? Imagine being in one of those and just experiencing a car accident and no one's driving. Like, how do you collect the insurance for that?
I guess you take a picture of it.
Nope. Hard pass. Nope.
Whoa.
Nope.
By the way, while we have 30 minutes until market open, I can break down my 2 trades from the London session. If
go ahead, please.
We go to my screen really quick. So I traded minis in the London session. London session is from 3 a.m. to 5 a.m. EST, by the way, guys. And literally, like, today was one of those perfect days that I absolutely love, where you enter a trade, 0% drawdown, immediately goes to target. This is the 1 minute time frame right here. And I literally took my usual A+ setup, which is a bull flag, right? There's a difference between bull flags during the London session and bull flags during the US session. Same for bear flags, obviously, just in the opposite direction. When I trade the London session, what I wait for is a push out of a significant zone. Like, for example, this purple line that you see, or pink line, was yesterday's mid price. So exactly the middle, 50% between the high and the low. We consolidated around here, and when London opened, we started to push up. So what I was waiting for was some sort of a consolidation, which we got right here. And actually, let me draw this so you can see it. So this consolidation right here that you see in the red circle. And then once we broke through that little downtrend line, which is the bull flag, basically, and we close on the 1 minute time frame outside of this line, that is when I take my trade. So you see, I entered it right here when we closed at 21,774.5. That was when I entered it. Immediately went up. Usually I go for 25.5 points. The reason is I go for 25, but I just can't stand when my account says I made like 497-ish after commissions. So I go for 25.5, so I actually see that 500. And then luckily enough, after I hit TP here, we had another consolidation. It's exactly the same setup. You can see, like, this consolidation here is the exact same like this consolidation here, right? Broke out of it, closed outside the trend line on the 1 minute chart. I took the entry, 25.5 points, same spiel again. So two very, very easy trades for today. It was very easy to hold because, as you can see, it was a straight move up to the target, which obviously we all love, right? But that were the 2 trades. And here's the difference to the US session. When I take a bull flag or a bear flag on during the US session, I enter the trade while the first candle breaks out of the trend line. Because if I wait for the candle close, usually, like, it's so far up that my stop has to be like, 30, 40, 50 points. And then I'm just not interested in it anymore. So I take the risk of it just faking out, but I don't have to take such a big stop loss if it stops me out. That's the only difference.
All right, excellent. So I see Tanja Trades in the chat. Tanja, welcome. We look forward to seeing you in a little bit. But boy, yeah, what was going to be kind of a what's going to really happen day just got a lot of pretty exciting. So we've got
sorry to interrupt real quick here. So I'm in a long right now. I took a long here at 875. The reason I took this long, and we're getting into it, guys, we're already in a trade, but I took this long here at 875. I want to see that we hold this level. Now my stop is actually going to be a 20-point stop. I want to give this a little bit of room, but I'm going to have my stop down here below this VWAP level. So if you're looking here on the NASDAQ, my stop is going to be at 775. I'm going to give this some room. So it's going to be about a 25-point stop, but I'm in at 800.75. That is my entry for a long.
800.75. All right, Jazz, just to clarify that.
800.75. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
800.75. There you go. People are getting confused in the chat. They're like,
I'm sorry,
775?
Let me see. Oh, that's not. I'm trying to stay. My orders, I don't know why my orders are not picking up here. I'm actually going to take off a little bit. I'm going to take off. I'm in. Let's see. So I actually went a little heavy on this. I'm in 7 minis.
Wow.
So
wow.
I'm
Nice.
up on this play. I'm going to take off 2 points here. Oh no, did I just exit my order? No. Oh my God. All right, so I just took off 2 points on, or I'm sorry, two contracts at 817. I'm gonna move my stop to break even here. And then I'm gonna actually be targeting this 829 area. I wanna see 829 on my next target. So stop is at break even here. And I'm gonna be letting this go.
Nice. Congrats.
All right. Well, yeah, you risk off on the trade already. That's always, when a minute or two in, you can be risk off on the trade. That's always a very positive thing.
That's the best thing ever. Love it. Gotta love that. What's your target again?
829.
829. All right, yeah, we're pretty close. Pretty close. Let's see if we can get it.
But my stop is at break even, so I'm already up on this play. If this hits, this hits my break even zone, I'm totally fine with that. Again, my break even is 800.75, so we're about 5 points away from that. I might get stopped out here. Let's see.
Let's hope not.
A big hello to all 360 something of you guys watching on Twitter today, Twitter/X.
Just got stopped out on this, guys. So just want to make sure you guys are aware of that. Let's update my P&L here. All right, nice little scalp.
What's your P&L on this?
Sorry?
What's your P&L on this?
I made 2,118 on that.
Great.
Nice. Congrats. Nice.
Awesome. So, all right. Well, we tried that. I think what I could have done too is I could have kept my stop a little bit below. What I could have done is just kept it at like 7. See, the only thing is like, I don't usually like trading right before the market opens like this, but initially, having a stop at like 792 or 793 would have been fine. For me, again, I don't usually trade close to the open like this, but we'll see. I mean, this could definitely stop me out and make the move, which it is what it is, guys. But, risk management for me, especially on a week that I've had a really great week, is really important for me. I don't, once I take my profit off, I don't really like to see a green trade go red. And I'm so used to scalping that for me, I don't like to let the trade play out right before the open. If this was the open, I definitely would have left my stop a little bit lower. I just don't, obviously we got these wicks to the upside and to the downside. So I'm not really trusting the market. I'm not going to lie. So for me, breaking even on the rest of my position is absolutely okay. But we are still holding. We're still holding the 796, 800 level. So we'll see. We'll see what we get.
All right. Well,
fair enough.
As I was getting into, right, as Miriam exited her trade for a very nice profit there. We've got about 350 plus people watching over on Twitter, our first broadcast over there. So from now on, you'll be able to catch the show there. There'll be some other outlets coming at various points as well. Just to let you guys know on Twitter, you need to be over here on YouTube if you want to participate in any of the giveaways that are going to be coming throughout any show, but especially the rest of this show. Now, that being said, if you're out on the go, it's easier for you to watch on Twitter, or, you just want to engage in what is always amazing back and forth, kind, respectful dialogue that is Twitter and social media, then go ahead and stay over there. But join us over here. You can get access to the giveaways. And again, just a small announcement. Tradeify's dashboard is down right now. That does not affect trading. You are still able to trade. They're just tinkering with a couple things behind the scenes. I think as Gandalf told us yesterday, guys, and if you missed that, I highly encourage you to go back and watch that interview with Gandalf/Vinny, the COO here at Tradeify. He talked a little bit about some of the stuff that's coming down the pipe. I know Brett did on an interview a couple days ago as well. We don't sit on our hands here when it comes to advancing things here at Tradeify. Between this show and a lot of other things coming down the pipe, I think Tradeify by September is going to be unrecognizable from what it was a couple of months ago, and it was already pretty damn good. So really looking forward to that. But hello to everybody over on the Tweet/X platform, and come on and join us on YouTube if you want to participate in the giveaways.
Yeah, actually, Miriam, NGU asks you to show your trade from today, like the one that you just did. Can you break it down really quick, maybe visually with the long tool there?
Yeah, so looking at NASDAQ here. So, for me, I watch both futures. I like to watch ES and I like to watch the NASDAQ when I'm actually trading either or, because I want to see that they're both in sync with each other. That's really important to me, especially if if I'm going long on NASDAQ, I don't want to see ES breaking to the downside. Like usually that's not the case. It's very rare that they're, both doing completely opposite things. But, there is usually going to be a stronger of the two. Now, NASDAQ for me, this level here, this is the 5-minute, and maybe I can go to the 15-minute so you can see a better visual of this. This 800 level right here is a key level. Now you can see right here, right at this break of this candle, we got a nice support. So it turned from a breakout to support, and then when we broke down below it, now it became resistance. Let me actually draw this so you guys can really see that level a lot clearer here. So this was the level that I was looking at for us to hold. Now, obviously we came back, tested it as resistance, came back down, we broke above it, we opened the candle right above it. We actually closed this candle on the 15-minute, and we broke above this level. Now, I did get in right at that break, hoping for a continuation. I'm a breakout trader, so I like to get in on the action right when it happens. Typically that, in the past, I've had to really adjust my strategy for this, but I've gotten a little bit better at this. But breakouts, you have to be really quick with, and you have to just like jump right into it if that's your strategy. Otherwise, you wait for a retest and you get back in on the retest, which is what I recommend for beginner traders. Trying to catch the breakout is a difficult thing to do. So for me, I actually had a limit order sitting at this 800 level that I got filled at 800.75. So I was hoping for this push back up. Now, as you guys can see, this wick right here on the last 15 minutes at 5:45, this is actually a strategy that some people play. What they look for is it kind of serves as similar like to a gap play. What they call it is a wick play. So what you would be looking for is a completion of this candle. So you would want to actually see, maybe not the next candle, but essentially this wick being filled. So that's kind of what I was intending for to happen. Now, my first target was going to be this 830, 820, 829 area, because as you can see here, we have clear resistance on the left here. So this was going to be my first target. And then obviously, trailing my stop from there would have been my play. Clearly I got stopped out on this, but this is still in play. I mean, you can see, you guys, this kind of came back and tested this level. I very much had my stop super tight on this, but this could very much come and fill this wick right here. Obviously this would be a target at this 845 as well. But then, that's a play in its own. A lot of people play these sort of strategies. So that's kind of what I was looking at on this play. And again, ES was the same sort of setup if you did decide to play ES. And I look at, the 9 EMA here, this orange line that you see on ES. I don't have it on NASDAQ, but as you can see, that level is still very much, holding. So if you're still long, this still looks good to me. I actually really like it. I just, again, for me, I don't like being in a trade too long right into the open. As you can see, everyone knows right about usually like 10 minutes from now, we get a pop, and then right at the open, we'll get a nice move. And I'm sure this will move up beautifully as we start talking here and getting into the open. But that was just kind of my game plan that I had going into this.
Interesting. Thanks for breaking it down. Surely interesting. You had 7 minis on this, right?
Yeah, so I did take off. So I took off 2, but then I actually, for whatever reason, I exited most of my position. I don't know what's going on with my charts here, but I had 1 that I got stopped out on for the rest of it. So it actually worked out in my favor, but I did get out most of my position on the push up. So that was something
So that was it, because somebody in the chat said that, well, how can it be that you got stopped out, or like that you closed 2 positions at 20 points and the rest break even and you're up 2,100? That makes no sense.
Yeah, keep in mind, guys, I did take a play before when was it, earlier today, and I can actually show you what I took as well. But this was a combined profit of today. So on this play, I actually made about, what did I make? Let me see if I can see what I made on this. So my total profit for today was 21,118. And then the play that I took here, because I took off, I'm trying to see where my orders are. Yeah, so I took off the majority of my position at 817.75. So that was a 17.75 profit on that.
Nice.
And then I got stopped out on the rest. So I made on that one, it looks like 989. And then the earlier position that I had, that was the rest of the 2,100.
Got it. That makes sense. Thanks for clarifying.
The same thing kind of happened yesterday too. I mean, I got a nice play in the pre-market on that drop. So, when you guys see our combined totals, that's also, it's the total for the day. And the thing is too, it's something that, we don't just trade on the stream. At least for me, I don't just trade on the stream. If I see a really good setup, I'll take it after the stream. I'll take it, before the stream. So, because I'm up, guys. I'm up at like 4 in the morning, so I'm watching the market. But we try to get some good setups with you guys on here. But if it's not something that seems promising on the stream, for me, there have been many times where I've taken a trend line break after the stream. I've taken, I'm a big options trader, so I trade options during power hour. I like to trade during that time as well. So that's something to also consider. This is the time where we like to look at the charts with you guys and take a good setup. But oftentimes, for me, I'll trade after hours as well.
Yeah, me too. Especially, I say this every time. Like I trade the London session, right? So that is where I make most of my profits usually. And then during the US session, obviously I trade while we're on Tradeify TV. But that's good to know. Thanks for clarifying.
Yeah, we are getting this pushback down though. We're not able to actually get above this 815 level. So let's see if we can hold. I want to see us actually still hold the 779. That's where I think bulls would need to hold for this to be still in play. I still like this play. I don't like that we're kind of rejecting this area here.
Yeah, so just to update everyone, says we're about 14 minutes from the New York Open. So people asking about dashboards. The dashboard is being tweaked a little bit today, guys. So the dashboard is down. It does not affect your trading. You can still log into your trading platforms and trade. But yeah, the Tradeify dashboard is temporarily down. It'll be back later today. So for somebody asking about what happened this morning, as you can see on the bottom of our screen there, Chinese state media reporting that President Xi and President Trump held a call. Does not say it was this morning, last night, whenever. I had just commented literally a couple of minutes before that Trump's been pretty quiet over the course of this week when it comes to tariffs, and he hasn't done a lot of public events. Just any statements have been through social media. So again, we hadn't had a lot of news. Now we get some semblance of news. We're not too far away from retracing this entire move. My guess is we'll have some sort of press statement from the White House within the next hour. So be very careful as you're trading, guys, about what was talked about, et cetera, et cetera. For those of you that were around in December 2018 with these two same leaders, with when Trump had his first term and Xi's been around effing forever because they're communists, they don't have elections. But what we saw, and this will be interesting, during that time, whenever the leaders would talk, we would get conflicting accounts as to what was said. And so the markets would pop, they'd drop, they'd be confused. So if we're getting into a little back and forth there, I mean, ultimately, the fact that they're talking for the economy is a good thing. Hopefully things get resolved, but there could be just a lot of up and down and a lot of volatility. There's probably, I cannot imagine there won't be some sort of follow-up statement either from Chinese state media or the White House today. So let's just keep that in mind as we move towards the open. I may look if it pops up in the news feed, if there's a press conference today from either the press secretary or the Treasury or whatever, but just pay attention to what's said on there. And we will, if the news feed's great, if Trump tweets or truce or whatever, that will pop up. So we'll let you guys know that as well. But a huge pop on the first candle, retraced about half of it on the second, and now we're just sort of consolidating. So yeah, guys, we are now just a little over 10 minutes to the open. Could be a very interesting open today.
Yeah.
And it would actually be a good time before the open here to do a small little giveaway, maybe to start the day. What do you think?
I love it. Let's do it.
Yeah.
What do you guys think in chat? Do you guys want to give away?
Yeah, do you guys want to give away? Let us know in the chat really quick. If you don't want one, that's fine.
I don't think they want it. I don't think they really want it.
Nah, maybe they don't want it.
Maybe they
don't want it enough. Otherwise, the chat would be exploding.
All right. Okay. All right.
Maybe they do want it. Oh, okay.
And
Maybe
guys, remember, if you're on Twitter, get over here to YouTube. We're going to give everyone on Twitter about a minute to get over here on YouTube for the giveaway. But yeah, we're going to do something here.
There we go. All right. They do want it. Let's do one. Small one, okay? To get started. But we're going to have way more today. And also, we're going to have Tanja Trades on at 9:45. She's going to be on in about 25 minutes. So stay tuned for that. Let's do the first giveaway. We're going to do a 100K growth account, free account for one lucky person right now. And to get that account, to maybe win that, you have to be liking the stream. So like the stream right now. You have to be subscribed to the channel. And you got to write a keyword in the chat. Mariam, what is that keyword?
Do I just make it up?
Make it up.
All right. It's gonna be let's see. Let's make the keyword. You know what? Let's just make it Beyoncé. Let's just do Beyoncé.
Beyoncé it is.
You
gotta spell it right. I just put it in the chat.
There
you guys better spell it right.
Yeah, you better spell it right. Otherwise, Mariam gets angry and nobody gets an account. All right. Chat is gonna explode now. There we go. Very nice. And then we're gonna see in a couple seconds / minutes who's gonna win that 100K growth account. Yeah, people waking up now. They're like, "Oh shit, giveaway! Let's go." Where's the chat? Nice. Okay, I see a lot of regulars as well for the day.
Nice.
I see a Seer back. I see Leah back. I'm not sure if I saw PMPFX yet, but he made something pretty funny for us. I don't know if Background Drew has that graphic yet, but maybe we can bring that up.
Drew
later.
is also Background Drew today.
Oh yeah, true. He's Producer Drew, not Background Drew.
Do we have a normal Drew? I think that's just normal Drew.
I mixed them up. It's Producer Drew. Producer Drew, the legend.
He is. Shout out to Drew in the back. I mean, honestly, everything that you guys see, this really wouldn't be a show without, our producer and the people that run it in the back. Shout out to you guys for always making sure that we look good on stream, and we're able to do what we can do. So you guys don't get enough credit, but shout out to you guys.
Yeah, 100%. Shout out to Drew. Shout out to Background Nick. And shout out to the GOAT Brett Simbo, who's so generous to do all these giveaways all the time. That certainly helps, and it's fun for people.
All right, I think we're about ready to cut it off here, guys. So you have 5 more seconds to get your Beyoncés in, and then we're going to we will announce a winner.
Let's
yeah,
see.
guys, the dashboard is in and out today. They're making a couple of tweaks, so if you can't see your dashboard, give it a few minutes and refresh.
All right, we closed the giveaway, guys. You can't type Beyoncé anymore. Giveaway is closed. All the entries are in. We're gonna have to randomizer pick one lucky winner for a 100K growth account. Actually, let me go through this really quick. Oh yeah, the slow mode is activated now. That's good, probably, because otherwise people are just gonna make this chat explode. Okay, we got one lucky winner here for the 100K growth account, and that winner is ABM. Congratulations, ABM. You just won a 100K growth account. Make sure that you type something in the chat right now so we actually see you in there. ABM, you have a couple seconds to write something in the chat so we see who you are. There he is. Very good. Or she, I don't know. But ABM, congratulations. You just won a 100K growth account.
Congrats. This isn't it though. I mean, we're going to be doing more. Just stay tuned though. If you guys rock with us the rest of the day, you're going to see, they're going to be giving away some other things as well, but you have to be on the stream. You have to be on the stream. So make sure you're locked in with us.
All right, so guys, let's circle back and get ready for the open here. So we are now just a little over, it's 5 minutes and 30 seconds-ish from the open. So obviously Miriam's already banked some money here. So what are we looking for here, guys? What are we looking for at the open? We're basically hanging out at the midpoint of that gigantic candle off the news of Trump and Xi's phone call. So boy, are we looking for a pop, a drop at the open? What are some key areas we're looking at here, guys?
Yeah, I think for me, what I would be looking for is this 800 level on NASDAQ to hold. For ES, that's going to be that 988, 990 level. Right now we are we're really respecting this level. So I think as long as we hold this, it could look good. Right now we're starting to get a little bit of a move down, but as long as we're holding this level, I think it still looks good. I think the line in the sand will be this 779 area, 780 level. So for me, if we start kind of pulling back here and breaking VWAP, then the next level down I would see is 750 to break, and then filling this wick right here actually, this news wick, all the way down to 712. So that's going to be what I look at.
Yeah, for me, it's still the same. Honestly, like what I said before we even got that big pop. If we go to my charts really quick, I'm still looking at these 2 zones that I marked here on my chart. I have the zone that I marked because of the Thursday high here, which is previous month high at 21,860 down to the 21,830-ish level. And then to the bottom, I got the zone from 21,650 to 21,638 because since then we have been consolidating in between those 2 zones. Obviously, we just peaked out of one, but that doesn't mean much to me because it was a news wick. Well, not a news wick, but a Trump tweet / news wick, whatever we want to call that. So these are the 2 zones I'm looking for right now. But as usual, momentum trader, waiting for consolidations and then breakouts of those. What are you looking at, Matt?
Yeah, so I'm pretty much looking at the same thing. I'd love to tell you, I'd love to get on board with dropping back down here. I do think we could see a nice pop up at the open, but again, we may just be waiting for a statement from the White House, and if this is going to turn into another wait for statements kind of day, we may not see much action at the open. I will watch the bottom of this candle here, probably about the 760 level, because that brings us right back into the zone of consolidation that we saw prior to that news, and a break below the -1 standard deviation. I don't know that there's any plays for me as long as we're between plus and -1 standard deviation off of VWAP. Usually I'm very comfortable trading within that area. But considering we were sort of pinned to VWAP for a little while now, over the past half hour since the initial announcement, we're pretty much pinned to the +1 standard deviation. That keeps me, I would say, leaning bullish. I'm not ready to proclaim bullish, but leaning bullish. I think a move, we're clearly right back here in testing 800. The more times we bounce off 800, I think the stronger the move up could be. But if we get a 5-minute candle close below 800 and the next one closes well, that could change my mentality. Unfortunately, we're in a little bit of a situation here where 800, which is obviously any 100 is a key level, especially if we pin to that level, which we have. But then we got VWAP just about 20 points below. So our standard deviation width off of VWAP is not very big right now. Although a 25.5 minute ATR going into the open, I think bodes very well for us. So yeah, I would say I'm cautiously optimistic, cautiously bullish. But let's see if we can make a run back to the session high.
Yeah, absolutely. And also, as a reminder, we're going to have Tanja trades on in about 17 minutes. She's going to come on at 9:45. And we have 1 minute and 30 seconds until market open.
Let's lock in, guys.
Yep.
So, guys, when it comes to, I'm answering a couple questions about giveaways in the chat, guys. When it comes to the giveaways, we rarely announce them much more than a couple minutes ahead of time. You got to be here for them. So we'll, for those watching on Twitter, like I said, we will give you the opportunity to come over. We'll give you 2 or 3 minutes notice. But yeah, that's just the nature of it. And as people talking about Brett coming in on and doing his 3 words, you never know with Brett. He may pop in, he may not. You may not see him for a couple days. You may see him quite a bit. Nick's out tomorrow, so I think Miriam and I are going to bother him if he's got the time and the energy to pop in here and talk to us. So hopefully that's the case. But yeah, we've got NGU. They want the reward without sacrifice. Yeah, but it's, hey, listen, anybody that like I said, I want to hear. Not even 6 months from now. I want to hear 3-4 months from now where somebody took one of these free giveaway accounts and made it, got it to a live account, right? I've thrown numbers out there before, but I want somebody to come back in a couple of months, say, hey, I got a giveaway, for, doesn't matter, growth account, straight to whatever, and I'm now live. That would
10
be
10 seconds, Matt.
That will make our day. All right, guys, we are ready for the New York Open. Let's get going. Ding, ding, motherfuckers.
I love
ding,
that line.
Ding.
I love that line. Let's see.
All right, so we are still holding this 800 level really nicely. You guys were still in that long. Congratulations, because you pretty much just hit your first take profit area. Let's see if we can break above this 835 here.
It makes sense because the 800 level is yesterday's high. So makes sense. If bulls are fighting today, it makes sense for them to hold that level, obviously.
Next level up, I would see, is the 845, 850 area.
Yeah, previous month's high and previous week's high off that nice little tool you recommended there, Nick. Actually, I think it was one of our guests that initially recommended that to us. Previous month's high, previous week's high, sitting up here at about 860. We bounced off those on 2 consecutive candles. So
yeah, exactly. It's actually Rips uses the tool as well.
Miriam, question for you. So you hit a trade in the pre-market, really nice P&L there. Does that change how you approach the open?
So you said how I approach the open or how I approach the day?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
There we go.
There's our reversal.
There it is. Yeah. Let's see if we can hold before I start getting into this. Let's see if we can hold this 780. 780 is what I'm looking at. So for me, it's one of those where I like to be a one and done gal. Usually when I say one and done, it's like if I'm up for the day, if I made a decent profit, and I see another really, really good setup, it has to be amazing. It has to be something that I'm salivating over, I just can't resist to take. But at the same time, for me, I'm never one that wants to give back my profit. So if I am going to take another setup today, it's going to have to be an A plus setup. And right now we're actually reaching a potential A plus setup for me, that I would be looking for us to break this 750 level. But for me, it's going to have to be so good. But at the same time, I'm also not going to be near the position size that I was in earlier today and then this morning with you guys. So I would be very much taking a smaller size, just so that I'm not, risking all my you never want to be in a position where you're up on the day and then you just risk all your profits and now you're pissed off trying to make it back and you go until it's not a good mix. Yeah. So for me, that's kind of what I'm looking at. I'm definitely open to taking another trade with you guys. It just needs to be a great setup, and for me, I'm not going to be taking on as much risk.
Leah is asking how much risk you would take on, actually.
Honestly, probably one mini. Since I took 7 on that last one, I'd probably only take 1. I wouldn't be risking much. So, again, for me, I would be looking for this trend line break. And I think if we got this trend line break, that could be a really nice move to the downside. So you can make a lot on, 5 micros or 1 mini. For me, it would have to be such a good setup. So I would significantly reduce my size as well.
Makes sense.
What are you guys looking at right now that we've kind of made this move back to the downside? We kind of touched this top trend line that I had here, not able to push down below. We're still technically holding VWAP on this 5-minute.
Yeah, we got 1 minute till this first 5-minute candle closes, and this, if we get like what would this be, like almost 100-point doji candle, this NQ can just go fuck itself. To be honest with you, that's again, when we talk about, for those that weren't here right at the very beginning when all this broke, so there's scheduled news, there's unscheduled news, there's expected news, there's unexpected. Unscheduled, unexpected news, like an announcement like this, it does take the market sometimes as much as an hour to kind of figure out where we want to go, right? And a lot of, futures markets trade quite a bit, trade, 23 plus hours a day. But, most traders and a lot of institutions will only trade during the New York session, especially the American-based ones. And so, sometimes it's going to take beyond the 15-minute orbit, may take the 30-minute orbit, where we really kind of develop a trend, or the traders may just disagree what this means. Again, all we have now is one report from Chinese state media. So we don't know when they talked. We don't know what was said. It is entirely possible that we get a statement from the White House in a few minutes that says, yes, they talked. It was a good talk. They're going to talk again. Or we may get a statement from the White House that says, no, nobody talked to anybody. I don't know what the hell they're saying over there. Honestly, this is one of those things. You got to wait for a little bit of confirmation. And maybe if there's something that pops up, there's something that pops up. But we just since the open, we've tried to get about 50 points both above and below that 800 level, and yet here we are kind of right back at that level. So as long as it wants to just sort of bounce around, we just got to kind of wait for that.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's another thing too that I want to mention is, like, for me, I'm big on trading my personal accounts as well on this stream. So sometimes you'll see me take big sizes. That's usually my personal account. Sometimes you'll only see me take like 7 micros, which in that case, it's very likely going to be my my funded account that we have here. So it's one of those where if I'm taking a big position, it's likely not going to be on a funded account. It's going to be my personal account. But that's something I also want to say too. If you have a small account, don't be trading big size. Micros, you can make really decent money on micros, and especially if you have a small account, especially if you have a drawdown or a daily loss limit of less than $2,000, you really shouldn't be even trading any minis. Stick to micros on that account.
Yeah, I think we're getting back into the topic where Matt is now going to rage about traders who oversize their trades.
Don't even get me started. It's too early to rant.
All right, we'll just sit out this 15-minute opening range, and then we'll
I
talk
will say, if I am looking at the charts, I am kind of a little bit more leaning towards taking ES. I like the movement in ES. Nasdaq looks a little bit too wicky for my liking. So I kind of like ES a little bit more. So if I am looking at ES here, I would be looking at it below like 977, 975, with a potential stop. You could have a pretty decent stop on that. But I would be looking at 977, 975 to fill this wick. The stronger entry is going to be below 970. So if that is something you guys are interested in trading on ES, I would be looking for a break below the pre-market low.
Yeah, there's a question in the chat about funding a personal account. Keep in mind, you need to honestly don't worry about where to fund it at first. You need to what's your platform and then work backwards from that, because one of the things, and this is why guys, places like Tradeify are such a net positive for traders, in that you pay one fee, you're going to get a data feed, access to a platform, et cetera, et cetera. You're going to, like, when we've all opened our personal accounts, and especially when I first did this about 7-8 years ago, it was such a pain in the ass, because you got to basically work backwards from what platform you're going to use. You got to find a broker that works with that platform, then you got to sign up for your CQG rhythmic fee, whatever, right? Like and it can take, depending on the company, it can take several days for approval and wire transfers and all that. So just make sure you're starting from the platform that you want to trade with and work your way back. Or you could just take those profits out, put them in your bank account, or put them in a 401k and IRA, and just keep trading your Tradeify account. I mean, it's clearly working for you so far. But I do encourage you, yes, to take those profits out and shit, get a year ahead on your mortgage if you can. Just those types of things can go a long way towards easing some of the financial anxiety that, let's be honest, we've all experienced at one point or another. So yeah, just like I said, start with your platform and work backwards.
We are approaching this level here on ES. First level, I'm not going to take this particular trade. I don't love it. It is still a good setup. If you want to take this break that we're actually having right now, I think you can take it to the wick down here to 970. Now, if we do fill this wick, I would expect a break. So unless we make a lower or a higher low, that's something to consider as well. So we are getting this break here. Nasdaq is also approaching this bottom trend line we're getting a lot of selling pressure here coming in on book maps. We are approaching this level here, 970. I'm going to be watching this area here for a potential short.
All right.
On ES, not the Nasdaq. I'm watching ES here. Just going to give it a little bit more time. I want to see how we react to this level. We have a lot of buyers on book maps here on that 972 area, which we're starting to fill here. Getting some very aggressive selling pressure on book maps here. I'm going to enter a really, I'm looking at book maps. I'm just observing. Now we're holding right now. I want to see us get back down to this 970 area. 976 orders are now in on book maps that are getting cleared here. It's kind of hard to adjust where the sellers are, because they came in very aggressively, and they just kind of held here this level. That's why you got to wait for confirmation, guys, because right now we are holding this level. As you can see, this is a line that I had right here at 971. We're still holding it. We're getting a bounce right now, so not in this trade. This is why you wait for confirmation.
Yep. Yeah, Nasdaq holding that daily open level as well. That's where we bounced just now.
Yeah, yesterday the pre-market low is going to be very strong here on ES. Actually, this might be a good. I don't want to say it just yet, but rewind if this actually ends up being the case. But we might get a nice bounce here. We might get a nice bounce here. We'll see.
Let's see. That's the danger of being a live streamer on YouTube, right? Because they can clip anything and everything.
You know what? It's fine. I'm okay with being totally wrong on this, but this level is a very strong level on ES. Every time we've come to it, as you can see, we've had these massive wicks. And I think even in the pre-market here, if you look at my 5-minute chart, look how well we have held this level, right? This is a really strong level. So I actually think this might be a nice reversal on this bounce here. We could probably come back up to this 690 area, which, you know, I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, that was a pretty sweet bounce on NQ too. Like we touched daily open, like not the US market open, but the daily open at 21,745 that was, and then bounced from there. So,
but look how beautifully we filled this wick, guy. This is why I like these wick plays too. They tend to work out. If you can get in on that breakout, I told you guys 980 is that level. If we can break down, we'll fill this wick, and look, we filled it beautifully, almost actually to the tick, a little bit below, but you know, this would have been a really nice scalp. If you guys are scalp traders, fellow scalp traders out there, this is probably a trade I would have taken on, you know, a normal day if I if I wasn't in some profit here. But since I already was, I took some really decent trades today, so I'm happy to have, you know, let this go. But this was a nice wick play to the downside.
Yeah, I mean, what is your usual rule, Miriam? To like, do you have a profit target? I know we talked about that in previous streams, but when do you start to become more cautious of new trades?
For me, I don't have a profit target. I never set a profit target. I never actually even look at what I'm making or losing on a trade when I'm in it. I've learned in the past, especially as an options trader, this has really taught me not to focus on my profits so much, because it really shakes me out of a trade. If I see that I'm down, you know, an uncomfortable amount, even though, you know, you shouldn't be sized too heavily to be in an uncomfortable amount of a drawdown. But, you know, for me, I've noticed, like, once I start looking at the P&L, it really just like it throws me off. So I try to hide that as much as possible. I've gotten a little bit more numb to it now, but I don't have a profit target at all. I just kind of like trade my plan. But like I said, if this is something that for me, I'm not looking to necessarily jump into any sort of trade right now. I do like ES a lot more than NASDAQ. Look at NASDAQ's chart right now. This is not cute. Right now. We don't like this. ES, when you see like clean moves like this, it's a lot more enticing to take those sort of trades. So I'm happy trading ES today as the cleaner move. But NASDAQ, I will say NASDAQ looks stronger than ES. So that's my only downside to that, is if I am looking to take the downside on ES, then I want to see NASDAQ follow. But it is looking a little bit stronger. So I would be more inclined to take the upside so that NASDAQ can pull ES with it. But I wouldn't be looking on any upside moves until we can get back above this 990, 985 level.
Makes sense.
This is a nice hold so far.
Makes sense. Also, it's 9:44 right now. We're going to have Tanja come on soon. So stay tuned for that, chat. If you're in the chat right now on YouTube, make sure that you, or even on Twitter, it doesn't even matter, but put Tanja in the chat if you're looking forward to have Tanja trades on Tradeify TV here in a second. It's going to be exciting. Put Tanja in the chat.
Let's go. We're excited.
All right, there we go. There goes the chat. Nice. And guys, Tanja is spelled Tanja, not YA. What are you doing? we really have some misspellers in the chat here. We're cleaning up now.
Let's go.
Matt, is there anything specific you're looking at before we bring Tanja on, or?
No, not as long as I'd like to see a break below the -1 standard deviation in the NQ here.
We might get it here. I was just, I was like looking at book maps. I'm like, these sellers are coming in hot. Yep, we're getting the break here. Missed my entry on that.
All right, I think our guest is ready. Miriam, you want to introduce her?
All right, everyone, give us a warm welcome for Tanja Trades. Tanja! Where's she at?
Hi.
Good morning.
We can hear you, but we can't see you yet.
You're going to be here. There she is.
What's up, Tanja? Good morning. Can you hear us?
Yeah, good morning. I can hear you all fine. How are you?
I'm good. How are you? How are you doing?
I'm good. Pre-NFP, day before NFP. I was looking for some kind of short down to 4-hour lows, but like since we hit previous week high, but But other
Yeah,
than that, I'm definitely gonna size smaller today if I do take a trade.
nice. Yeah, we were just talking about taking a short here right before you came on, but hopefully we can take a trade together. So before we get into that, why don't you introduce yourself and kind of let the viewers know who you are, who Tanja Trades is, and what you like to trade.
All right, yeah. I'm a day trader for about 5 years now, about 2.5 years, I think, full time, or yeah, almost 3. And I trade the Nasdaq and the S&P 500
Nice.
primarily. I used to trade when I started trading. I used to trade small caps, and then large caps, and then I transitioned to options. And then in 2022 is when I transitioned to futures. And I've never really looked back too much. I do still sometimes swing trade options, but futures are my primary focus for sure. And then, NASDAQ is Bay until she's like not Bay, until she's like your toxic X a little bit.
Toxic X, yeah.
But yeah, it's been fun. It's like it's always developing. And like I also live stream on YouTube. I've been live streaming for probably 1.5 years now. Yeah.
That's awesome. That's great. Well, I know everyone's like excited to, get you on here and see what you're looking at for today. So I know the market is kind of making this move. What are you looking at? Or have you traded today? Have you taken any trades?
Yeah, I'm like kind of looking at just ES versus NASDAQ. I noticed how at the open we had that large push lower. NASDAQ did retrace a bit more. ES is weaker than NASDAQ, but we're staying below all those like levels, 9:30, 8:30 open, midnight open. So I mean, thinking that we could probably get lower on the NASDAQ. ES already just hit its 4-hour BISI. That I think is like just the bare minimum, the easy salad points over there. Like the easy trade was down to here, to 59.67, but we'll see if there's follow through from NASDAQ, because NASDAQ has been known to just hit some small sell side. Like let's see here, this pre-market sell side, and then take out the high that makes a low. It hasn't been smooth sailing in the NASDAQ or in ES really the past couple of days.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm also curious to know. So you're an ICT trader. For those of us who, for those of us in the chat who don't really know what kind of goes into that strategy, can you describe what you look for, how you trade on a day-to-day basis, and what goes into that?
Yeah, sure. So I primarily just look for liquidity and then reversals off that liquidity, and then I like to look at whether the market is moving, trending, or consolidating. That's probably number one, because then that tells me what kind of trades I should get involved with. And then from there, I look at key levels like daily highs, daily lows, weekly highs, weekly lows, pre-market highs, lows, like session highs and lows. And then I see how we react at those levels, to see, are we going to have a reversal? Or are we going to have a continuation, essentially? And then I go from there.
Awesome. Okay, so you look at the pre-market as a way of analyzing your trades, and how do you determine like the levels? So are you using any? I'm sorry, this is like all new to me. Usually for fair value gaps is what you look at as well. Is that correct?
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, those are candles that show momentum. So you're thinking that the market is lending its hand over to you to show, hey, there's a lot of momentum going in that direction. So there's likely to be orders that have not been filled there, to go for either a continuation, or if it comes back into that area and just completely overtakes it, it could be a reversal. Mm-hmm. So I mean, for example, FVG, a fair value gap here, is on the NASDAQ. It's simply just a 3-candle formation. So you can see that this at 9:31, we had a large move to the downside, large candle. We closed below this, and it's like the space between the previous candle before it's low and the next one's high if you're bearish. So you can see that there's spacing between. We didn't completely fill in, and we did retrace in here and drop off from there.
Is there a certain time frame that you're looking at as well when you're looking at these?
Yeah, I like to base all my decisions off the 4-hour mostly, because at the beginning of the week, obviously I'm looking at the weekly and the daily, but then, so I have that in the back of my mind. So I have those levels, so you can see the previous weekly high here. And then during that 850 push up, we had just wicked it and come back into the range. So it's likely for it to revert all the way back into the range here on ES and NASDAQ instead of having a continuation. And then, reversals did present themselves this morning. I was a little bit, I missed that one, honestly. I was looking at the Dow, and I think my data was a little bit off there. I'm going to have to check everything. But the Dow is actually weaker, yeah. You guys? No one told me in my chat. I had my little live stream before this, too, because I heard that. I brought my people over here. Say something in the chat if you're here.
We see them. We see them. They're loving you already.
I heard that there might be surprises.
Oh, always.
We never know with Brett in the background, but yeah,
Okay.
There might be.
Cool.
Definitely.
Surprises for our guests are usually surprises for us too. So yeah.
Oh, okay. I mean, I don't know what it is. So cool. Cool.
Yeah. Looks like we're going to be dropping the first straight to funded. Brett says just started off. So what do you think about that, Tanja?
What do you say?
We're dropping our first straight to funded giveaway.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, we're gonna give away a 50K straight to funded account to one lucky winner, hopefully out of your community, Tanja, since you brought so many people over.
Oh wow, 1,500 people in the chat. Nice.
Yeah, there we go. So here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna give away a 50K straight to funded account. In order to win that, guys, you have to like the stream, you have to subscribe to Tradeify TV on YouTube, and you have to make sure that you type a keyword in the chat. And Tanja, I'm gonna put you on the spot here. You actually say what keyword do they need to put in the chat in order to be able to win that 50K straight to funded.
Bagel.
Bagel it is.
Is that what you have
All right,
morning?
Love my bagels.
I'm hungry all of a sudden. I don't know why.
There we go.
Good everything bagel. What's your bagel of choice?
So if I'm going for something lighter, then it'll be an everything bagel with scallion cream cheese. And then if I'm hungry, it's always going to be an everything bagel toasted with pastrami, egg, and Swiss.
Wow.
So you use 4-hour charts and you eat everything bagel. Did we just become best friends?
Maybe we'll see. I mean, I'm from New York. I've been grown up on the bagels. I only eat fresh bagels pretty much. And yeah, I love bagels. So everybody's typing in the chat. If you already wrote bagel once, you're good, I think, and that you're good. You don't have to spam it. But then if you're done writing bagel, write what your favorite, what your go-to order is for the bagel.
We want to know, guys.
That's going to get messy here in the chat. I swear that's going to get real messy.
All right, I love it.
There we go. Let's give them 10 more seconds because otherwise this is going to go too crazy. 10 more seconds, guys. I see so many misspelled versions of bagel. I see able. I see bagle.
They're typing too.
Come on, guys. Let's get this right.
Nice. All right, cool. We're gonna have a winner picked in the background here, and then we're gonna have Matt. You can actually announce the winner in a second here once it gets posted.
As soon as they give it to us, yeah. And also, guys, stick around. We have more giveaways, and I have been told that there's something special coming in about 15 minutes. So I literally don't know what it is. None of us do, but
Brett
loves his suspense. He loves the drama. So we're gonna tell you in about 15 minutes. So about 10 after the hour, we've got something special coming your way.
Love it.
All right. So we're rejecting this FEG on NQ, you guys. What do you think that will happen? We were kind of consolidating within it, but you made that pre-market low. It's a huge fair value gap. I think it's a decent potential short to here.
Yeah, Yeah, I like it too. I mean, it's cool that we're all kind of seeing something different, but have similar analysis. For me, I'm a trend line break trader, so I look at specific trend lines for us to either bounce on or break. And right now, we are really testing this level on ES, which is the 5960 65 area. We're still really really trying to hold this trend line. But we kind of have room here until this 3-hour demand zone at 927, 930 area. So if we get this break, we can see some good downside. Otherwise, we hold this trend line, we start moving back to the upside. But let's see if bulls have it in them today to hold this area.
All right, so guys, we do have a winner for our straight to funded account. It is Tabiba, Tabiba, winner of 50K straight to sim funded account, guys. So make sure, Tabiba, make sure you say something in the chat just to acknowledge and claim your prize. But congratulations.
Congrats.
We're gonna give away a 100K and a 150K account as well, guys. So stay tuned for this.
Man.
All right, we are getting this break
Boss
here,
is
guys.
generous today.
Yeah, they were about to drop.
Tanja special,
All right, nice little break here that we're getting.
Mm-hmm.
Bookmaps is
Yeah, I like it. I like it. It's like it broke pre-market low again too.
So what would you be looking at right now if you were to enter a trade?
Yeah, I'd honestly probably just you can get a close proximity entry too, like here, and then I'd probably put the stop up here at 780 and go for 635 here. Let's see. That's what I'd probably do.
Okay.
And yeah, it's more than a 1 hour, but
What time frame do you usually execute your trades on, Tanja?
so like I'll typically execute on the 1 minute actually.
Okay. There we go, Matt. Another 1 minute trader. I have
Yeah,
friends now.
but she looks at the 4 hour. I'm just glad to have some company here. Damn.
Yeah.
Nick's
We
going
joke
off
that
of,
Matt doesn't
charts.
like the small time frames, so me and Nick are always looking at like the 5 minute or the 1 minute or something lower. So
Yeah. I got you. Like, I mean, during the New York Open, things move pretty quickly, so the 1 minute's definitely fine to use, I think.
I love it.
Mm-hmm.
So how long? So you said you've been trading for 3 years now?
No, 5 years, but 3 on futures.
Oh, 3 on futures. Okay. So is that something that you primarily trade right now, or do you trade other things? I know you said options a little bit, and I know you said small caps when you first started, but is futures your primary instrument?
Yeah, pretty much. Like, primary futures, because it's the best because of the tick value is always the same, and like your risk is much easier to calculate. And then for options, I'll take more if I'm kind of like entering on like a more like I'm being less precise about my entries.
Mm-hmm.
And if I want more time on it, if I'm like swinging or something.
Yeah, that makes sense. I feel that with options too. I still trade my options accounts as well, but yeah, you definitely have more room with your entries on options versus futures. So that's a good point, actually.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's what I like about that is that at least with futures, like you could also like enter and exit as many times, but for options, it's like if you exit your trade, you're taking profit, and then you could re-enter, and now the contracts are way more expensive, and like it's a whole different risk reward scenario. For futures, it's always fixed. Okay, every point on the Nasdaq is just 20 points.
Absolutely.
every point on ES is 50. So. Yeah, it doesn't take much. It looks like we came back above now. I don't really like it. So I'm like looking at 10 a.m. open to see and watching this on the Nasdaq. Is it going to come back a third time into this area? Or are we going to completely overtake it? Then you might even just get a reversal back up to like middle of the range or something. But right now we're just we hit that first pre-market low on Nasdaq. We hit the 4 hour
We're back in.
on ES, so we can have a retracement or something where we've been seeing in this market takes out like a swing high or something like that. So we'll see here. I mean, we don't have any more high impact news, do we?
Yeah, I don't
Not
believe so.
today, no.
Not today.
No, tomorrow though. NFP tomorrow.
Yeah, tomorrow's NFP. I think that'll be fun.
In the meantime, Tanja, somebody in the chat is asking, how many years did it take you to become profitable?
Yeah, so for me, it's like an interesting type of journey because I started trading in 2020, and in 2020 and 2021, it was just a bull market. So I was profitable my first 2 years because it was like you could just buy anything, and like as long as you were long, you made money, you know. And I would swing trade small caps. I would do everything. I've like traded SPACs too, and so like I was profitable my first 2 years, and then during 2022 bear market, that's when things got more real, and like I became unprofitable, and I had to develop a strategy, like, and that's where I sort of like found ICT because I like that it gives me like a structure to go with. Versus, you know, when I was trading before that, I was kind of just pattern trading like double bottoms off like EMAs and things like that, and I didn't really have like a clean target to go for, so it was hard to it wasn't structured. I wasn't really thinking of RR every time before I entered a trade, versus now it's always I'm looking at the RR, the bigger picture.
Yeah. So what is your typical RR on a trade?
Yeah, typically I'll like wait for like a 2R at least. I'll take 1.5 at minimum. So if I just see like a 1R, typically won't do it unless it's like looks like a really quick scalp that could be happening and high probability. But otherwise, 2 to 3R. Typically, my actual like average when it averages out is my winners are 2.5 larger than my losers. That's what like my stats are. So, so then when I like, let me think. And then that also takes into account dynamic risk. So when I'm like trailing a stop also, I do like to trail my stops. If we break a swing low again and then create a displacement, I'll trail my stop to the last swing high essentially to make and like protect my capital. So yeah, that's what I go for.
Do you trade your stop into profit as well, or just to the break-even point?
It's very rare that I'm putting in profit, honestly, unless there's like a clean swing low. I just like sometimes I'll trail it into profit, but I feel as though when it's at the break even, most of the time it's gonna go to my take profit. So I don't like to squeeze. I don't like to choke my trade at that point. So I'll typically put a break even instead of stop and profit. Because at that point, if I actually put my stop at break even, I'll take profit. I'll take a partial off. So if I have like 2-3 contracts, I'll take 1 or 2 contracts off the table to pay myself, and then I'll trail break even. So that's like my way of trailing it in profit.
Makes sense. So we're actually consolidating here on NASDAQ.
Right along.
And then on ES, I actually don't have the ES chart open right now. What are we seeing on ES? Similar movement?
Yeah, ES is holding this trend line, it seems like. But what do you see on ES, Tanja?
Yeah, I'm seeing that ES made a lower low here and NASDAQ didn't during that push down where I said, oh, maybe it would go down to here. And so that this kind of is like, I wouldn't be in shorts right now because of that divergence. And NQ did take the pre-market low there. So that's what I'm seeing, is that there's no, right now it's hands off on the market for me, because I think that this sometimes shows the indication that you might have a reversal on the short term. Like we might take out a swing high here now on NASDAQ if it gets some legs here.
We are starting to pick up here. Aggressive buying coming in on both futures. NASDAQ really held that 700 level. I think that was the level we talked about in the pre-market. We came back down and filled that this wick in the pre-market, but we did make a little bit of a lower low here, like Tanja mentioned. But this might be the first sign of a reversal. I might think, but I think ES would have to get back up above this 976 area If, or even actually, I would say more like 978. If so, this is like a giant like fu to the bulls, and I think I think we might push down if we can't get above the 10 more points here on the ES. So we'll see what happens here.
Good old
Yeah.
waiting game.
Mhm.
Good old waiting game, yeah. Are there certain days for you or certain times? Like, I know you'd mentioned today when you first came on, like, I am going to be sizing down on my position. Like, how do you decide what days you put on risk and what days you don't?
Yeah, so I always start the day off by looking at the 4-hour time frame and to see if there's any continuation trades going on. And what we've seen is that we wick previous candles lows and then we go wick previous candle highs. There's not really continuation, and it's preceding like a large red folder event, like NFP. So that always takes into account. That's what I take into account before that anything, because the day before NFP, we could be just generating more equal lows to take out later for NASDAQ. So like these are somewhat equal lows. It could be generating that for later. So I don't really like to go for, I'll think about the fact that it's less likely that we're going to have just straight down movement continuation. I'd rather think that it's like a high resistance liquidity run, which is like it'll take out previous swing high before going back to take the next swing low. So I'm always cautious about that, because that's just like price action that doesn't move cleanly.
Yeah.
Like for here, ES, we just took out that 1 minute high here and NQ2. And we'll see here, NQ doesn't really have much legs. We didn't displace above this high. So, and it is consolidating within here. So yeah, I'll look at that and be like, okay, I'm going to take half sizing because it's the day before NFP. NFP is going to provide the large movement into the marketplace, versus today we had 8:30 news, I think, and then nothing else. We have a lot of Fed speakers in the afternoon, which I don't love.
Yeah.
Well, we had the China news that Trump is speaking to China. That was the pump at 8:49.
Yeah, that was that pump at 8:49, and then the White House hasn't responded for comment yet. And then that wicked out previous weekly high, and then we had that 1 minute break of structure and came back down. Let's see on the 5 here for NASDAQ. Yeah, we just have a ton of wicks, but we have this 5 minute FEG too, which is interesting. Held within, and we took out that last swing high.
So I want to ask too, like in terms of obviously we've had a lot more headline risk this year, and I know you said you started in 2020, and like you could literally just wake up and press call options and you're good on the day. But how do you feel like this has changed your style of trading this year?
What changed specifically?
In terms of the headline risk that we've been getting.
Yeah, it's been wild because, like, I mean, I'm always looking at the ATR. I used to not really look at it too much. The average true range of the NASDAQ. So I know over, like, I'll look at the past 5 days. So there's, like, an indicator I use to see what the range has been like on the daily for the past 5 days on average. Because I want to know, are we having smaller ranges now? Are we contracting? Are we expanding on the daily? And then I know not to push my limits too much then. Let me see here. Like if I go to indicators and I go to I just click average true range. You can see here, I just put on the last 5 days and we can see how much lower the volatility has been. We've had smaller ranges. So the average is like 323 on the NASDAQ. Meanwhile, you can see back all the way back here, when we had these crazy tariff talks and such, we're at 1,300 daily range at its peak. And that tells me to size down lower because your stops could be like 100 points now on the NASDAQ, no problem, or 50 points when it used to be, 20 or 30 points.
Right.
Versus now, the volatility has dried up a bit. Since like February, we haven't had these smaller like daily average true ranges on the NASDAQ. So I see that it's going lower. So that means we're having smaller ranges on the daily, and being a day trader then is actually really hard because you're trying to catch some sort of movement within a smaller range. And then again, you have those random headlines now that do pop up, and then you'll get like a 30, 40 point move in 1 minute. So
Yeah,
so
it's very frustrating. I don't know about you, but I feel like more frustrated this year trading. So I know I've heard you kind of talk about like reducing your position size, and we'll get these like 100-point moves in a 1 minute candle, and just like what the hell is going on here? But yeah, it's definitely a little bit more frustrating this year. It's definitely not 2020 trading market, which going if I could go back to that, I don't know about you, but if I could go back to that, man, I'd be a bajillionaire at this point.
yeah, exactly. I remember during that time, I was just like, I just need to get more money. Like I need to get as much money as possible. Just buy Tesla and Amazon. And I remember I literally held, like I was swing trading those. I just held those for like 3 months, and it was crazy. I was up 50% in Tesla and 30% in Amazon, and that was just insane.
Right.
And you had all those, stock splits going on too.
Yep.
So it was like a run up after for the rumor for that stock up to the stock split date event. It would always be just straight up, and then you just sell before, and it was just like an easy money make printer. It was just because like the government was just printing money to everyone with the no interest rates, so it was like a no-brainer. But that we're not going to get an environment like that again anytime sooner, probably maybe ever again, really. So it's good that we get these kinds of markets, because I think this really trains your discipline.
Yeah, we all felt like geniuses during the back half of 2020. It really was. I mean, I know a lot of people have come to the market since then, and maybe a year or two into the lockdowns is when everyone really got into trading, or even more recently. Yeah, it really was. I mean, I don't know if you weren't making money in that. If you were trading actively, you had been trading for at least a few months, and you weren't making money back half of 2020, first half of 2021. Go do something else.
Yeah, like and during that time, I think a lot of people got into the market, so they were just starting to learn, because the pandemic gave people a lot of free time. Everyone was working at home, so there was a lot of more like inflow into the market too, and there were a lot of people just learning. So I think a lot of people probably share that similar sentiment, where man, if I knew what I knew now, I knew like back then it would have been a lot easier. But that's a good thing that a lot of people got more involved into the markets, and now you have more retail traders than ever.
Definitely. Sure. Also, guys, I heard Brett say in the background, he gave us something very special that we're going to do in a minute here at 10:15. But make sure that you actually smash the like button right now, because in order to give you that something special, we want to see 1,000 likes. We're currently sitting at 911, so hit it right now, and we're going to do a special in 30 seconds.
Let's go. I'm excited.
You know what it is, Mary? I know what it is.
Do I know what it is? Am I supposed to know what it is?
I don't know, but we're shortly crossing 1,000 likes, and then we're going to announce it.
Let's go.
Come on, guys. Smash the like button really quick.
Hit the like button.
All right, we got it. There we go. And it's 10:15 in 3 seconds. So here's what we're going to do, guys. We're going to do a Tanja special flash sale. You're going to get 40% on all accounts, all Tradeify accounts, but just for the next 15 minutes. In order to get that, use code Tanja at checkout. 40% of all accounts for the next 15 minutes, all right?
Oh, wow.
40% on everything. What's in crazy. What kind of cold and flu meds is Brett taking this morning, man?
Brett is getting crazy.
They're laced with something for sure.
Yeah.
This is an exclusive flash sale, guys. Just here on Tradeify TV, all right? Just the next 15 minutes.
15 minutes. Go get those cards.
I love it.
And somebody's saying it properly in the chat. She's Tanja with a J, not a Y, okay? So that's the code.
Tanja with a J. Tanja.
There we go. Is there anything specific we're looking at right now in that barcode action? Anyone?
No, not really. I mean, no. All I've been looking at marking swing highs and lows, and you're not getting any displacements below a high or above a low. So there's not really much I want to get involved with here, because it just shows that there's not a lot of market participation, really. So it's an easy time to get chopped here.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, for sure.
Would be ugly to enter anything.
Here.
Also, we're always touching that bottom of the 50-minute opening range here on Nasdaq, but not really, no real follow through anywhere.
Yeah. Yeah, we hit that pre-market low, and then we're just consolidating for how many minutes now? Like probably 30 minutes.
Wow, yeah. It's not doing much.
Yeah.
We're still waiting on a move here.
Let's use the waiting time actually for a couple questions, guys. So chat, if you want to ask Tanja a question, put it in the chat. We're going to hand select a few that are really good, and then going to ask her if you're down, Tanja.
Yeah. Of course.
Cool. All right, let's wait for the chat to catch up.
Yeah, we know the website is a little slow right now, guys. It's coming. Just stick with it. That's why we're giving you 15 minutes. We didn't say 30 seconds. So if the site's not loading for you, give it 2 or 3 minutes. It's there's not a set number on this. It's a time, guys. So it's okay.
Yeah, you have 15 minutes. Waiting for the chat here to catch up with questions.
Let's see.
All right, so I hope this question makes sense from Peroloco, Tanja. He's asking, question for Tanja, do you use the OTE of the fair value gap as a reversal or continuation after the PA is inside the FVG? God, this is complicated.
After which PA inside that FEG?
So wait, I'll paste it in the chat here so you can actually read it, because it couldn't get much more complicated.
Yeah, that was quite a mouthful.
Quite a first question to start off with.
Yeah, it's here on the back end. Can you see it?
Oh yeah, in the back room. Let me see. In the back.
Yep.
To use the OTE of the FEG as a reversal after the PA is inside the fair value gap. No, I don't really do that. I think they're asking if I take the actual FEG, say like let's say like this large one, and then if I'm drawing a fib within it, so like from this low to this high, if I'm using this as a potential reversal, I don't do that, but I can see why someone might do that. I mean, sometimes you'll get 3 drives into an area. I just don't particularly love this FEG in particular, because it is the one right before we took some pre-market sell side here. So I always don't immediately short that one, and like to see the reactions, because it's potentially sometimes just completely inverts it because we took some liquidity here, and then you find a reversal. I won't use it as a reversal, definitely, but I don't really take the fibs of a fair value gap unless I'll have the midpoint drawn here on the box though. I'll look at the midpoint essentially. But yeah, I mean, we since I started here, we had 1 drop at the first minute that I came in, and then we just consolidated since then. Interesting price action before, but this is the kind of PA you expect before NFP.
Yeah, definitely. And
like we're just
going from a complicated question to a more simple one, but more personal one, maybe. Brad is asking, was there any point in your trading career where you felt like giving up? And if you did, what did you do to get out of the rut?
Oh yeah, there was a point. I think in like 2023, it was like the roughest point of my life. Like I had, I was on losing streak, and then also I had just had ACL surgery, and then I took a break from trading for like 3 months, and then when I came back into it, I was not really in a good headspace, and I did go and look at jobs and different jobs and things like that, because at the time I was doing like all these other odd jobs to be able to free up my time for trading, so like personal assistant work, like walking dogs, like tutoring, things like that. But I have a degree in biomedical engineering, so I was like, well, like I'm starting to run low on all this. I'm just bleeding. So I was looking at those job descriptions, and I really looked at everything, and I was like, I don't want to do this. I don't like any of these things. And I was like, okay, well, at the time, I was always thinking of that as like a crutch in the back of my mind. Like, oh, I always have my engineering degree to fall back on. And then that was a good moment for me, because it made it real like, no, it's not, because I don't like doing any of that and I don't want to. And then I just went heavier into trading and made it like, okay, it's like, this is plan A and there is no plan B. And that's basically what happened with me. And that's how I got back on track, is that reframing it in my mind, like, no, I can do it. You have to be a little delusional about your goals. And yeah, the rest is like history, really.
That's amazing.
We definitely have proof for that now, or you have proof for that now.
Yeah.
Speaking of you streaming every day, having a huge community, being super successful there. So that's awesome to see. I have another personal question here coming from James K. He's asking, how do you control your emotions if you're in a losing trade and you know that your market analysis was on point?
Literally, I think about the market environment before I even enter the trade. So then I have my expectations of what might happen, so that I'm not as surprised if I get stopped out. And then if I do get stopped out, like, then I just accept the fact that I was wrong on my analysis. And the market, like, either there's two different things that could happen, is that either the market environment is really difficult and not ideal for my trading strategy, or number two is that it's actually my fault with the executions, or it's my fault on my analysis and the analysis is wrong. So in both those situations, the best thing to do is to remain calm, or maybe try one more trade or walk away. If I have like 2 losing trades, basically that tells me, like, in a row, 2 losing trades in a row, especially full stops, that tells me I don't have a good grasp on the market and what it's doing. So then I will just walk away.
I like that. Yeah, that's actually a rule I have too, is 2 losing trades in a row and I'm done. What are some other rules that you set for yourself, or what are some ways that you kind of like get out of that hole for the day? Do you have any sort of hobbies that you get into? What's your like go-to form of therapy?
Yeah, for me, I mean, walking is super important. I think like going out and like actually moving your legs and bilateral walking is super. It's literally research, and it helps you process your thoughts. You have to externalize what just happened in that way physically. And then after that, when things have like cooled down, I'm typically even keeled and cooled down anyway, but then I'll go and journal and like write out what happened. And then even if it was a good day, write out what I did good. Or maybe it could have been a day where I lost a trade and I'm red, but I actually did good. And like, I'll write out, yeah, I executed, I waited for my entry and I was patient and I held on to the plan. So that's what I like to do. I think it's important to, like, whatever you got to do is like, if you have to first map out your emotions. So like you're trading yourself in that way. You have to analyze yourself and know how you get when you start getting angry, when you start getting fearful, when you start getting anxious. And you should have your own like map, like a scale of 1 to 10. What you do when you're like a level 2 anger. Do you grip the mouse more? What do you do on level 5 anger? Do you start swearing? And then like level 10, you don't want to get to level, like whatever level it is, like maybe level 6 anger, you're starting to revenge trade. So the point is, you need to stop yourself before you get to that point. And then, yeah, it's before you get to the point of no return. Because either you can stop yourself before you get too far and you can regulate yourself to bring yourself back to 0 and like a environment where you could at least work with and trade clear-headed. But if you're at the point where you're not clear-headed anymore, good luck, Charlie. You're about to blow a lot of money,
That's very true. I mean, I like what you said about like getting the movement in. I mean, it's more about, not just like exercise. Obviously, there's so much behind that. But just like letting it out of your system, and making sure that like you're not just leaving it in here. You're not just like, because we show that, right? We have stressors that we hold on to in our bodies, and like the simple form of movement actually like helps release that. And so it's amazing, just hearing that from a trader. I don't know if we've heard that yet. I know we've kind of like talked about like certain ways from other guests that they kind of handle their emotions, but simply walking and getting up and getting some fresh air can amplify the release of those emotions more so than anything else. So does that kind of come from you said biomedical engineering degree? Is that something that you've learned from your studies?
Yeah, I mean, not specifically, but I do like take a really big interest in like neuroscience, and I do like researching and reading studies and things like that. And there is definitely a lot of research behind. Yeah, just like the number one thing you should need to do is like get GTFO, like get out. If you have a lot of like pent up energy, it could be from anger. It could even be from like adrenaline. I felt like euphoria once when FOMC, we had Jay Powell speaking, and he dropped 1,000 points, and I made a lot of money on shorts, and I was like just buzzing the rest of the day because I didn't take the time afterwards to actually get rid of that energy, because you have to externalize that. There's a lot going on in your head too, that if you're like kind of avoiding it and you're putting it in the back of your head and you keep distracting yourself, I think that's the biggest issue. The worst thing that someone could do is probably just scroll and distract themselves, because that's avoiding any kind of issue, and then they're putting it off until the end of the night when you're trying to go to bed, and then then that causes restless behavior, because that's when your brain is the only time it has to process everything that happened and all your emotions. So I think that's super big. Externalizing it, and then also externalizing it in a journal, so then you're actually able to organize your thoughts in a way.
Wow, I love that. We're getting the nuggets here from Tanja, and we're starting to make this move back up here, testing that 78 level that I spoke about on ES, now in confluence with VWAP. But what would you be looking at here now on the charts, Tanja?
Yeah, I mean, right now this is literally key, like straight up like seek and destroy action, or straight up like high resistance liquidity run action, where we consolidate, and now you're getting this push up here, taking out the swing high that took out the swing low. I wouldn't even be surprised if we come up all the way up here in the NASDAQ and take out the 930 high. But no, because we're consolidating, I'm really not even looking for a trade right now. I'd rather wait for NFP tomorrow, because you're having just wicks on both sides. I wouldn't even go for like external of any range. So it's just really, really difficult. I don't like this environment. I'd not do anything really, because it could literally just consolidate again from here.
Yeah.
But what are you seeing on yours? It's crossing VWAP.
Yeah, we are testing VWAP on ES. This is the level that I would feel like bulls need to like, push out of and get back above. But I do think, this level that we held, this 960 level, they did a really good job. I'm not gonna lie. And I kind of mentioned to you guys, this might be a sign of a reversal here. We started to reject this 9 EMA, and I use the 9 and VWAP in my indicators, but NASDAQ here looking a lot stronger on this push up. We are testing this 800 level as I'm speaking right now. So let's see. I mean, if we can get back above 800, I don't see why we can't push above 900 today, and really hold. So we'll see. I mean, like Tanja said, we have NFP tomorrow, so
yeah. What's interesting about ES is that it retraced into 50% of this whole leg up on the 4 hour there, and then we did hold there. And NASDAQ's stronger. You have like divergences there, where NASDAQ never reached into that 4 hour or even 50% of that move, or the 4 hour BISI. So we could totally do that. I don't love the risk here of being long, personally.
Yeah. Fair enough. By the way, guys, just a quick info so nobody gets disappointed. The 15-minute flash sale is over. Congratulations to everybody who got their accounts for 40% off. We're going to have more giveaways on this stream, so stay tuned. And also give it up for Tanja really quick. Smash the like button and put W Tanja for just her showing up, taking the time, and being with us today. This is amazing so far.
We've also pinned Tanya's socials. So in the chat here, if you can look, we have Tanja. You can find her on YouTube. All her socials are at Tanja Trades. I believe you're on. Are you on Instagram and Twitter?
Yeah.
Okay.
Pretty easy to find.
Yeah, just type in Tanja Trades and you'll find her for sure.
Matt, is there anything you're looking at right now?
No, I was just kind of watching the news feed just to see. I was very engrossed in what Tanja was saying, so I was listening to her, and now I'm kind of going back and reviewing the news feed. Nothing of substance. And so nice rejection of this positive one standard deviation off of VWAP right at yesterday's high as well. So I agree with Tanja. I think we're getting into a situation where barring some sort of statement from the White House or Trump, which we still have not seen yet, a little surprising, barring that, the markets are going to go into wait and see mode, and they're going to wait either for a statement today or they're going to wait for some kind of NFP news tomorrow if there's some great disappointment there. And obviously jobs numbers this week have come in and shaken the markets a little bit, so we'll kind of see from there. And from there, obviously we're going to turn towards Fed meetings and the big Trump v Powell clash, which is on deck as well. So we'll see how all that goes, but no major news. It's very surprising with that we have not seen some sort of either follow-up from Chinese state media or some sort of statement from the White House. It's 10:30 on the East Coast. The fact we haven't heard anything is makes me think they were caught off guard by this statement. And they're the fact that nobody's on media right now or anything like that. I wonder if they were caught off guard by this.
Yeah, wouldn't be surprised. We are rejecting that 800 level on NASDAQ very aggressively, actually, on bookmaps here. So look at that. Just one candle taking out basically two 5-minute candles here. We need to hold. We really need to hold on NASDAQ. I think the level now to hold is that 715, 712 level. If we can get that, then if we don't hold this level, I think we, break down past the 700. And we might make some fresh new lows here. But not a good sign so far from the bulls, but let's see.
Yeah, definitely not.
Just flailing around. I had a conviction for that. I was like, come on, guys, like you can do this, but sellers are just pounding them right now.
Well, you're a bear anyway, so good times.
I'm trying to root for the bulls, but they don't want it.
Just not working.
Yeah. What about you, Tanja? Are you like natively a bear or a bull?
No, natively got to be bull always, because bulls win out in the end for market historically.
Finally, I've got some backup on this show.
You'll get some nice action on the shorts. Shorts are more fun than longs, I think, because they always move much faster. It's always staircase up, elevator down, and that's exciting. But yeah, they're short-lived typically. You can definitely, they're more fun because it happens much faster on the downside than the upside.
Yeah, look at this last move we got. We just took
out. Exactly. Like it took us maybe 10-15 minutes to get up here, and then it was all taken out in like 2 minutes, 3 minutes. More than half of it was taken out. So we just took out the swing high that made that swing low. We're breaking down again. I don't really like trading when the range looks like this, really. Yeah. But I like to turn on RTH hours a lot, so I can see what we've done just during the New York session. I can have a better gauge of whether we're trending or not. ES definitely weaker there. But yeah, NASDAQ, we traced really deeply up into here, took out that swing high. Now we're dropping again. So, and you said we lost those levels. I really wouldn't even, we could just consolidate here, or we can drop again to this low. I wouldn't be surprised. This like pre-market low area.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we would need to hold some higher levels here. I would not want to see NASDAQ come back and break down below the 700. I don't think that's going to look very good. So if you are long, just be cautious of that, guys. Unless you got some amazing entry, I would be taking profits for sure. All right.
How many trades a day do you guys typically take? Like,
you know what? I was going to ask you the same question. I was like, wait, what was my next question for her? As we're getting this breakdown here.
Yeah, there it is.
There we go.
Oh gosh, here we
There's
go.
that breakdown. That's interesting. Nice.
Interesting hold that we have. This is something where we kind of spoke about earlier. I'm a one and done usually kind of gal, but if I take one really, really amazing trade, it'll take a lot in me to take another one. I have to, be very convinced to take another trade. So usually not more, honestly, not more than 3. I haven't taken more than 3 trades in a while. But yeah, usually up to 3 is my sweet spot. So I got to shoot the question back to you.
Yeah, same thing as I would say my average will probably take 2 trades during the morning session. And then it depends on whether I take a third depends on like if the second trade was a break even or the one or like 1.5 R, then I'll probably try a third trade if I have some sort of conviction. But otherwise, I'll take max 2. So or max, I'll take like -2 R during the session, I would say.
Nice. Okay.
So if the first trade was a break even, that's all right. I can take like 2 more trades.
Yeah.
In my head, because that's just a scratch.
Makes sense.
Yeah, that makes sense. For
Yeah.
sure. Oh, we're holding here, guys. I mean, this level is strong.
Yeah.
This
Yeah.
level is strong.
It's pretty much going back and forth. Like, it's not breaking below the lows for continuation. It just wicks a low and then comes back into the range. And so this is my like least favorite kind of environment to trade. That's why I don't really take many trades in this kind of environment. The best trade of the day was probably if you shorted like a 933. And that's basically it. Because we had that open down. But other than that, there's nothing really happening too much. Yeah, look at that. That reversal back to the upside is crazy.
I hope no one's getting chopped up in this, guys. I hope no one in the chat is, just this is not the price action that's really convincing me here.
This is the FAFO environment.
Yeah.
F around, find out.
Exactly.
What's that, Matt?
I want to bring your attention to one thing, and guys, we haven't seen this on this show yet, so I haven't been able to highlight it, but if we want to pop my charts up here really quickly. So I have this little tool that shows the standard deviation width in dollars between. So I got VWAP here, +1 standard deviation, -1. Okay, and so right now our dev width is 32. That's not very high considering the price action. And our 5-minute ATR is at 44. So for me, I will tell you this, guys, this is a red flag for trading. I will not trade when the standard deviation width is less than the 5-minute ATR, because what this tells us, when the ATR is big, we're whipping around our big candles, big price action. When the dev width is small, it means we're not trending. It means we're not really going anywhere per se, unless our ATR is low as well. So for me, this is what me and my former community used to refer to as a politician's market, right? So a politician can talk a lot without really saying anything. This means the markets are moving a lot, but they're not really going anywhere. They're not trending. They're not even really mean reverting. We're just sort of bouncing around with huge ranges. So this for me is a trading red flag. Sorry to interrupt you guys. I just wanted to jump in with that.
No, I like that. I mean, it's always good to get a different analysis of what other traders see. And, I know, Matt, you have a lot of insight on the markets. You've had a lot more time in the markets as well. So you've seen different cycles than all of us really. But yeah, this is something that is actually new to me too. And I know even Tanja, like ICT trading, it's a new thing for me too. But essentially, I feel like we're all kind of analyzing the same thing. I mean, we all see the same charts, right? There's no one seeing something different than anyone else. But it's really cool to get that insight from different traders. And that's why I always say too, like, why are we shouldn't be against each other, right? We're all trying to win. We're all trying to make money. We're all doing our best. So the more we can all support each other as retail traders, the better off everyone will be, right? Like, this is not me against you or, oh, Matt, I hope you lose today. No, like, we all want to see each other win. And, we're all here for each other.
Tell that to social media.
I'll get my revenge on you in other ways, but
yeah.
No, it's we're all trying to make money here and do the best we can. So
speaking of making money, why don't we give away another account? What do you think? We could do
let's do it.
100K straight to funded account. That's the next one we do. We're gonna do the same rule. All right, you gotta like the stream, you gotta subscribe to the channel, and you gotta type a keyword in the chat for your chance to win a 100K straight to funded account. And as before, Tanja, I'm gonna put you on the spot again. What is your keyword that people should type?
Let's do Tradeify.
All right, okay. Thanks for that. Tradeify it is. Type Tradeify, and guys, I know many of you typed it wrong the last couple times, so make sure you spell it right.
Tradeify.
There you go.
Tradeify for 100K straight to funded account. And there we go. Chat explodes.
All right. Yeah, might as well give away some accounts. Well, the price action's garbage.
For real. Yeah. Or
If
just
you have action in the chat.
So while we're doing this, I have a question for you, Tanja. So this is something we've talked about in the show. We started the show a couple of weeks ago. This has been one of I had the same morning routine for basically about 6.5 years. This has been such a disruption. I love doing the show. Love my fellow hosts. Love having all these guests on. But it's been a big disruption. If you were talking about stuff you've gone through in your career where you've had disruptions, personal things bleeding in. How do you sort of zero back in when you have some sort of major change in anything outside of trading and make sure you're ready to trade when you're ready to go again?
Matt, keep talking, by the way, because the market is just pushing.
Yeah. So how do you get back into the flow? Sheesh. Yeah, that was
multiple statements from Chinese media out, guys.
Higher too, because it took out the previous low from that previous leg. So that's nasty.
We're back to previous month high now.
Wow.
Yeah, and last week's previous weekly high too. Yeah, exactly. So yeah, how do you get back into the flow of things? So I also have a morning routine. I'll wake up and then I'll go outside to get my morning sunlight in my eyes and the walk. It's super good to get sunlight in your eyes as soon as you can. Sets your circadian rhythm and actually makes you then sleepy at night versus gives you that energy, makes you more awake and alert for the morning. And then I'll walk over to a cafe or something. I get a ham and cheese croissant mostly, or a bagel, and then I'll walk back home. And then I got my OJ today. Actually, I'm almost done with this. So I actually used to never eat breakfast, but now I do eat breakfast. Yeah, and I think it's helpful. It gives me that energy. And people on my show even see sometimes I'll do it live on my stream. I'll I make my little electrolyte drink here, my Stanley cup, put my water in, and I put some electrolyte powder because it helps to have that salt. Most people are magnesium deficient actually, and that helps a lot with my focus. Because the thing is, you want to be stressed enough, and on the scale there's a scale of stress, and you too little stress, you're not trading well because you're missing a trade, you're not alert enough, or you're not concerned, you don't care about your trade as much. And if you're too stressed, then your performance is also lower because you could be too scared to enter a trade, or even messing up your executions, right? So you want to be in the middle, and I want to basically get myself awake and alert in the morning to be able to do that, to get to that area of focus. And then I'll look at the charts on the 4 hour. I'll pop up with my phone. I'll see where we are on all the indices, if we're gapping up or down. I'll look on the 4 hour, try to see if I have a bias. If there's no, today, there's not really much of a bias on the 4 hour. We hit that previous weekly high. I thought we could retrace, and then that was that morning move there. And then, it's about getting yourself back into the groove. So you want to make a routine that you could follow. Even before I had this kind of routine, by the way, there was a point where I had nothing, and just choosing one thing that you do every day, whether it's just drinking a cold glass of water, something to hang on to that will bring you back, anchor you back into your focus for the day, is important.
I love that. Yeah, having a routine is I'm not usually a routine person, but I realize having a routine is it keeps you grounded, and it keeps you consistent. And consistency, as we all know, is important in your trading routines. So I'm going to actually announce the giveaway winner here. So if you guys are still typing Tradeify, please stop in the chat. The giveaway is over. But the winner is this is for a 100K straight to funded account. The winner is Michael Hernandez. Michael Hernandez, please type in the chat so you can claim your prize. Congratulations.
Congrats, Michael.
Good job. He literally just typed Tradeify again. So he's here.
We
But
see
since
you.
slow mode is activated, I think he can't comment for another 60 seconds. So he's here.
Awesome. All right. Well, we are getting this push here. Wow, this is quite the move. So you said there was news that came out, Matt.
Correct. We have
Regarding
multiple
China?
statements from Chinese state media. Xi and Trump agree to start new round of talks ASAP. So apparently
right.
President Xi is speaking on Chinese state media right now. So I'll be honest, I am fucking shocked. We have not heard anything from the White House this morning. Like it's like the silence is deafening. So maybe that was part of the arrangement of their first conversation, that China could announce it. That was a thing in 2018. I remember, as sort of once we got past the initial, the month of December 2018, we gave up our year's gains in the pissing match between Trump and Xi. By the time we got to January and everything was stabilized, we started to get more info about what was going on. So we do have a little insight on the relationship between these two. Okay, we do have a tweet out from Trump, just came out.
Finally.
Yeah, hold on here. I've concluded a very good phone call with President Xi discussing some of the intricacies of our trade deal. Call lasted approximately 1.5 hours, resulted in a very positive conclusion for both countries. I'm just going to scan this. This is a word salad as per usual. Respective teams will be meeting shortly at a location to be determined. Conversation was focused entirely on trade. Nothing was discussed concerning Russia, Ukraine, or Iran. We will inform the media as to scheduling the location of the meeting. Thank you for attention to this matter. So we do have apparently a meeting on deck with China and the United States, various trade representatives. No time, no location announced for that. But now both sides have been out with statements that something is happening. So that is the news.
All right, you heard it
All
here,
right,
guys.
thanks for that update.
Yeah, man, lots of headline risk we have going on here in this 2025 market. Tanja, I want to know, are you do you primarily look at the fundamentals during your trades? Are you strictly technical, or kind of a mixture of both?
I'm definitely look at the news, but I'm not. So like I'll look at the economic news calendar to know if there's going to be news announced during that time, like the predetermined times, like 8:30 unemployment, the CPI, NFP, whatever it is, GDP. And then I'm mindful of that at 10 a.m. news as well. But I'm not going to be looking at what the release is for those specific, like I'm not looking at the numbers for that. Like I don't know if job numbers are good or bad. I'm just taking whatever the market reacts at that. But when there's random headlines, I'm definitely like, I can see just like that. You see like a 70-point candle on NASDAQ, you have to go check out what that headline was. And I'll make sure I read that. And because that could totally just change the sentiment of the market completely, as we've seen with the, Trump tariff like pause when he announced that twice. By the way, like the first time when he took it was like a false release that the White House said, and then the second time for real we had like thousands of points in range, and like then we were very bullish and was upside sentiment. So that's what I'll do. So I'm not looking at those like the numbers from the releases from the economic calendar, but I am looking at like whatever the Trump headlines are. I'm definitely looking at that.
Yeah.
So the mix.
Yeah, I think it's one of those where same with me. Like I don't look at them. I never used to, actually. I used to be purely a technical trader, but realized how much headline risk is on play during these past few several months here. But yeah, it is important to kind of keep your head on a swivel, especially in these market conditions. And just be aware of what's going on.
And today is definitely a waiting kind of day, because literally none of us, and we're all trading separate strategies, none of us is getting entries here. That's crazy.
It's one of those days where you can.
Miriam, you took a trade today, and that's it, right?
Yeah, I took 2 trades. I took one in the pre-market and then actually both in the pre-market. They weren't even during the session. And so, for me, this is kind of one of those days where like, if you're not getting completely wrecked today, good job. like nice work, like staying out of this sort of price action. You know, it's been one of those days where I could see it being very, very difficult to try to stay in a trade if you didn't get a really, really good entry. You know, and so it's just it's hard. These sort of days are hard, and they are very frustrating, especially for newer traders that aren't used to these sort of moves. And so I you know, if you stayed out today, I commend you. This is not an easy day to trade by any means, but yeah, holy shit, that's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah. I'm glad I ate during London session today. Like this is not my price action here during US.
Yeah, this is absolutely crazy.
London session was great though, to be fair. That's
Do you
so I'm
ever
happy about
trade the other sessions, Tanya? Or are you strictly London session?
I'll basically it's very not very often that I'll do that. Only if price action has been very volatile and my targets haven't been hit, I will look at Asia and London. I've only done that like maybe 2 or 3 times though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I think I trade enough.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
you don't live in the best time zone to be trading London at 3 a.m.
Yeah.
It's not the best time. All right. Well, how are we doing on? I think we did our last giveaway. Is that right? Or maybe
No, we have
One
more.
more.
Want to do one more?
Yeah. We got
All right, let's do it. We're gonna give away the big boy account, the 150k straight to funded. That's
wow,
that's
there
gonna
we
be the
go.
most exciting one. Same rule again, guys. Very simple. Type the keyword once in the chat, but before you do, like the stream, subscribe to the channel, and Tanya is gonna give you the keyword in a couple seconds. Whatever you want, Tanya.
All right. Let's put NFP.
NFP. All right. In honor of tomorrow's news, NFP it is. I think Brett just typed another word in the chat, and now
Oh, he
it's
put
getting
once. Put once. Or what would he put? I don't even
Yeah,
know.
we're
Oh wait,
confused now.
why are we typing one?
I don't know.
Nobody
No,
knows.
just type the keyword one time.
Chaos. It's
Oh,
chaos
type it
everywhere.
once. Okay, just write.
Oh, type it once. No, duh, bro. The keyword is NFP, guys. NFP is the keyword.
That's funny.
No one typed it. No one wants this giveaway.
No one wants to type NFP. With NFP, you're getting the chance to win a 150k
Well, there's a bunch of
straight funded
NFTs in the
account.
chat there. Brett was saying type it once, not type the word once. Type NFP once.
Yeah, that's hilarious.
Now we got some NFPs. There you go.
This is what happens when you spend 30 years cutting school funding.
What's
Yeah.
that, Matt?
Never mind.
Didn't hear it. Anyways, it's NFP. Oh, there we go. They're getting it. They're getting it. That's
Love
sick.
that.
Like a straight to funded 150k account is like a $500 value approximately. So that's a pretty sick giveaway. If you get that account, you have the chance to get some really good payouts from that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Straight to funded is lit.
we love a good straight to funded.
Do
We
you,
wanna-
Tanya, do
whoever-
you trade prop firms as well, or do you just trade live accounts?
I also trade props, but I've recently started my own like live accounts because I decided like I also want to start sizing up. So I want to start trading like minis and stuff. And the prop accounts is where, you know, I have to be more strategic with risk, and I gotta take the micros. And then I also like having my own account so I can take like withdraw whenever. So I think, you know, both is nice because props, you know, they provide a lot of leverage.
Yeah.
Definitely. Yeah. So I do both.
Makes sense. All right, they're getting it now. We have NFP in the chat.
All right, we're gonna be picking the giveaway winner in a bit here. It sounds like we're just getting word here from them.
Woo!
From the team.
Let's
I
see.
love it.
All right. I think we got him.
We get it?
I think we got him. Or her. Who
Or her.
knows?
Ladies and gentlemen, we got him.
Who wants to announce? Feel free.
Go for it, Nick.
Me? All right, I'll do it. All right, winner of the 150K straight to funded account is Jesus or Jesus or however you want to pronounce it. It's Jesus Martinez. So congratulations. Make sure to type something in the chat right away so we know you're there and you can claim your prize. Congratulations.
Nice.
We got some pretty good giveaways today. Thanks
We
to
have.
Tanja. And a 40% flash sale because of Tanja. So
Yeah, this is why you guys got to be here every day. You never know what we're going to drop.
You know it. Cool. Yeah, and at that point also, thank you so much, Tanja, for being on. Thank you for taking the time. Thank you for answering all the questions of the chat of us hosts. And I hope to see you back again soon.
All right, thanks for having me. Let's go. It's always my pleasure. Let me know, guys, what you want to see from me in the future. If you want to see any more psychology tips or whatever, or anything really. I mean, hopefully, maybe I can come back and it'll be better price action a different day. This is
we gotta have you back. We gotta.
But I kind of you couldn't literally look at the calendar and see it's the day before NFP. So as long as you, like you said, Miriam, if you're staying safe now and you're staying disciplined, then you're in good shape. So yeah.
Also, make sure, guys, make sure to follow Tanja on the socials. It's pinned in the chat. You can find her at Tanja Trades pretty much everywhere: Twitter, YouTube, X, Twitter is X, Instagram, all that stuff. So it's pinned in the chat. Make sure to follow her there so you can actually see more of her because she's super active, streaming daily and doing an amazing job.
All right, great. Yeah,
love you, Tanja. Thank you.
Thank you.
See you, Tanja.
Ciao.
Bye, guys.
All right, there we go. We're gonna have I think we have more giveaways even. I don't know how generous Brett feels today. But if we have to wait on price to do something, we gotta do giveaways.
We're gonna need to Uber Eats him some really high-end flu medication for tomorrow, so we'll just giving away something every few minutes.
But I'm too sick.
Oh, he's out of giveaways.
He's sick. Can we get a get well soon, Brett, in the chat, please? He needs some recovery energy, guys. Get well soon, Brett. This is not a giveaway. It's just just a nice gesture.
Oh my goodness.
Right,
well, we're breaking towards highs here, guys. We're back up here at kind of this 21,850 level in the NQ that has been resistance all morning long. Really curious to see. So let's pull it back just a little bit. All right, let's kind of sum everything up for those of you that are that are kind of coming in late, and obviously we got some great topics and conversation there with time. Boy, we have not had a shitty guest. It's been one outstanding guest after another. It's been wonderful. But so this morning there was a quick pop. A little bit of drop. There was some news coming out of China that Trump and Xi have talked, and it was CCTV, the Chinese communist television, was out with a lot of details on this. Trump just confirmed this via truth tweet, post, whatever the fuck they call them over there, that there is actually going to be a meeting. We do not have a date or a time for it yet, and so that's we're gonna have to kind of wait for that. Hopefully, it's coming pretty soon. But the markets initially reacted positive. They pulled back a little bit. And now we're headed towards highs. So we got away from the initial reaction. And now we're talking about the reaction to the reaction now that the markets have processed this news. And again, so much news is, scheduled. Non-farm payrolls tomorrow. We know that's going to have some sort of effect on the market, even if it's quick and small. Most likely it'll be neither. But this type of news, the markets themselves, the big boys on Wall Street, all the fund, they need time to process all of this. No doubt reaching out to, we know all of our friends in Congress get stock tips quite a bit. No doubt they're reaching out to allies around the president to find out a little more details. So within the next hour, if we see a big move up or down, my guess is the big money got wind of those details and they're reacting to that. So be very careful for the rest of the day while you guys are trading, guys.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and like I said, I really feel, this is one of those days where, if you look at the chart, it's one of those, if you hadn't looked at the chart up until this point, you might think and look at it and be like, oh, there could have been some really good trades. But if you're in on the price action, you're actually watching what's happening, it's really hard to convince yourself to take a trade. Even for me, I was watching some of these trend lines and I'm trying to I'm trying to, justify a trade, but even then it's like I just couldn't get myself to do it. Call that intuition, call that whatever I was reading on book maps or the price action, but there's certain days where it's okay not to take a trade because you're as you see right now, we're making these really crazy moves, and it's one of those where if you're just out of it, and you stay disciplined enough to not jump into anything, then you really are the winner today. And it's just one of those where it takes some time to get used to. Like anything in this market can happen, and as you guys can see, we got some headline risks that came in. So if you were short in any of those positions when we got that move, then you might have been sweating a little bit. So again, just to reiterate, also make sure you guys always have stops. Always have hard stops on your plays, because as you can see today, it was not a fun day if you were on either side really at any point. So you just always have to protect your capital so that you can trade tomorrow as well.
Yeah, definitely. And I repeat myself with this over and over again, but no position is also a position. Always keep that in mind. You don't have to place trades.
And I want to just, so every guest that we've had on here seems that there's some themes, right? So every guest that we've had on, profitable trader for at least several years, if not longer, right? And there's been some common themes, not necessarily in strategy or style, right? Which goes to show you don't need to be Miriam or me or Nick or Rips or Tanja or anybody like that. You don't need to be us or trade exactly like us, right? But some of the themes that have emerged are not, it obviously goes without saying, let your winners run as much as possible. We're right or we're right out. And guys, the amount of trades that, again, all the way back to Rips, our first guest, to Brian Stonk, to Tanja, are telling you they take anywhere from 1 to 5 trades per day. And I know a lot of you guys out there are taking 10, 20, 40, 50. I think one person told me one time they take 400 trades a day, which the commissions at that point are going to kill you if you're not really profitable, okay? So I really hope that goes to show you, for everyone saying, we got to do this or we got to do this or you guys should trade or do it. Okay, we will when we see a setup. And if we're over the course of 5, 6, 7 hours of market action that we're watching, if you see all these profitable traders, all of them, right? And they're all telling you the same thing, that they don't feel the need to trade 20, 40, 50 times a day. I think that's something that should stick with you. I hope so. I hope it does. In that you just find now, I can sit here, if I wasn't doing the show and just staring at the chart and the things that I look at, I could honestly find probably 70 to 80 trade ideas per day. But it's then that process of filtering down to those 2 to 3 really good setups that separates traders who are consistently profitable and traders that are patient with those that are blowing accounts left and right. I see a comment I want to address here, Miriam. I think you and I can take this. I'd like you to take it first, then I'll follow up from Jay Void. Said, not a good day today. Really feeling down. 7 years at this. Either way, thank you for the show. You guys are awesome. So struggling for that long a period of time. Miriam, what advice would you have for him or her? I'm sorry.
I think it's one of those where, and I don't know, your strategy. I don't know what you do after every single trade or how you monitor that. But it's identifying your patterns, right? Like identifying what it is that's causing you to have these losers, right? Is it that you're losing more money than you're winning? Is it that you're not getting in on the good entries? Is that your position too high? Something like that. A starting point would be really good to look at and figure out, what kind of trader are you? Do you have a good edge? You're just, not as disciplined as you want to be. It's a combination of things. So I would first start with, looking at what your patterns are, figuring out if it is your strategy, obviously work on your strategy. Is it your psychology? Do you feel like you tilt a lot? You have big days, but then you have bigger losers. It's identifying that first. And I think, after several years of trading, you start to kind of notice these patterns and once you start back testing and once you start journaling and looking at what those factors are, you can really very easily pinpoint what it is. If it is your strategy, obviously get a new strategy. If not, you have a solid strategy and it's your psychology. I think, we talk a lot about psychology and what to look for in that sort of realm, and figuring out, like, is it that I just need to take a break, right? One of my biggest rules is I don't take any trades after 2 back-to-back losers. And that's saved me a lot. There have been so many times, in my first years of trading where I've, made a bunch of trades, and, I would lose here, win some here, and then lose again. And, and it was so exhausting. And I figured out for myself, you know what, I'm just not going to take a trade after 2 losses. Done. And that has saved me so much headache. That has saved me so much, not just headache, but like my actual money, right? You want to be able to trade tomorrow. This is not just a, hey, one and done and I'm profitable trader. No, you got to show consistency. So being able to set rules for yourself is really what's going to help you stay in this game, and, make sure that you control your risk as much as possible. So that's all I would say.
All right, and I do want to address. No, I don't think you should give up. And Jabbar Powell, you're here every day. Appreciate you as a viewer, but no, well, let me rephrase that. If you're able to keep going without sacrificing like quality of life or something like that, if you're spending $100, $200 on evals or resets every month, it doesn't affect your ability to provide for yourself, family, whatever. Then by no means should you give up. Now, if you're spending a ton of money and you're not able to make your car payment or whatever, then I wouldn't say quit, but it is time to step back. And after 7 years, if you're struggling, it is time to step back. Please don't quit. Please don't give up or quit. But maybe take a couple of weeks and say, I'm not going to trade for the next 2 weeks. I'm going to go back to the very beginning. I did this about 8 months into my trading career, and it was the best thing I ever did. I said, I am done. Okay, for now, I am going to step back. I am going to reset. This was the prelude to my trading career. My trading career starts today. Today is day 0. Tomorrow's day 1. I went back and read every book. I went back and watched every webinar. I started from scratch, and now having that experience of doing all the dumb shit that we all do as newer traders, I was able to look at all that material through a different lens and actually take the lessons that Mark Douglas or Steve Neeson was trying to teach me and listen to them. So, and now I will say this, if you've been trading the same basic strategy for 7 years, you said VWAP deviation, and that's something I look at quite a bit as well. I will say that might not be the strategy for you, right? And sometimes there can be there are we had Tanja in here as an ICT trader. There are people that swear by ICT and make a ton of money with it. And there's some that don't, it doesn't speak to them. It doesn't work for them. And that's okay. Not every strategy is going to work for everyone. So maybe I would consider stepping back, maybe just reassessing your strategy, try to learn something else, et cetera, and go from there. I'm trying to follow it. Yeah. So, and I appreciate you sharing the personal stuff there, Jay Void. So yeah, if you're dealing, we talked about this, right? Quite a bit on this show. If you're dealing with shit and you're dealing with health of parents and family members, that's real stuff. That's not, I broke up with my significant other that you've been dating for like 6 weeks or something like that, right? Like that's real shit. That's real life shit. So it's okay to step back a little bit. And so maybe at the end of the day, you go back and just look at charts and kind of make some notations. I highly recommend The Disciplined Trader by Mark Douglas. There's a reason it's sitting on the shelf behind me. They actually have another shelf I'm putting up there, so we'll have a lot more stuff coming in the coming days. But guys, yeah, if you're dealing with stuff outside of trading, it is okay. Like I talked yesterday, guys, how my mindset the previous 2 days was not best, right? I had some stuff going on outside of trading. Nothing huge, nothing like, but death of pet, dealing with making sure I'm there for my fiance. That was a big thing for me. So I was not opposed to trading, but I needed A+ setups to get there, and I didn't get them. So at that point, I'm not going to put myself in a position where I'm going to compromise the style of trading that I do because of stuff outside of trading. So just don't give up, but step back and reassess a little bit. So no problem, Jay Void. I appreciate that. And that stuff, guys, honestly, again, every single fucking one of our guests is a great profitable trader, and every one of them has come in here and talked about how important trading psychology is. Guys, I've done traders expos over the years for other companies. I've done sat in rooms of 5,000 people, and I know when somebody comes in to talk about trading psychology, half of those people get up and walk away. You go talk about a strategy, you'll have them standing room only. Yet without the trading psychology and the ability to trade that strategy, it doesn't matter. You can be if your head is not right, you can't manage trades, you're stopping out too early, you're reversing, you're taking 30 trades a day. Somebody could hand you the golden system tomorrow, and guess what? You ain't going to be able to trade it. You got to get your head right. You got to be able to handle the discipline, the big D word we talk about every single fucking day on this show. If you can't get that through you, and guys, I have one of the hardest heads out there, and I have references that will back me up on that, mostly friends and, past, whatever. But anyway, if I can get this, you can get this. So there's nothing wrong with stepping back, assessing what's going on to top to bottom in your trading, and kind of making some adjustments and revamp from there. But start by reading The Disciplined Trader by Mark Douglas. Any trader who has not read that book is doing themselves a disservice and is wasting their time. So in the words of Forrest Gump, that's all I got to say about that.
Boom, big fat. I wish I had my soundboard here. I would do the pew, 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 like
I think that sounds
to give you your flowers for that. Yeah,
we're gonna get that in the future for sure.
I know. I need to get my stream deck set up, but yeah, absolutely, guys. I mean, I'm not even gonna add on to that just because it was such fire information. Get your psychology in check. I say this all the time. Like, trading will teach you a lot about yourself that you probably didn't know already, from other jobs. It's definitely not like having a normal job, a normal 9-to-5, which is, what makes it so cool, but very, very stressful at the same time, right? It's not as consistent as a normal 9-to-5, but at the same time, you have a lot of uncapped upside potential. So, if you can just get over that personal hump of your own self, because it's you against you at the end of the day. So if you can get over that, it's really upside from there.
Speaking of, Personal Hump was one of my favorite 80s pop bands, so highly recommend them.
We don't know them, Matt. We're too young.
Personal.
Yes, if you've noticed on this show, that's completely made up. But that, there's people on like Apple Music or Spotify.
Yeah,
right
they're like Googling it.
Oh man. We still have 700 people here, guys. Still 700 people watching, and we really appreciate you being here. If you're still here, make sure, if you haven't already, smash that like button. And if you want us to answer some more questions, then feel free to put them in the chat, because now is the time where we actually can answer some questions. And price is slowing down pretty much. We don't have Tanja on anymore. So if you want to get some questions answered, drop them in the chat right now.
I know. I wish this price action was a little bit more favorable. But who knows? You know what? We might. I don't know. Do you guys think we're gonna hit that 6,000 on ES today? What do you guys think?
Here's the thing. I kind of like that bull flag, but I'm afraid to be the top tick, Nick.
You're afraid to be top tick, Nick? What do you mean? You are top tick.
Yeah, I know, but this is looking like a top tick trade. I'll tell you that much. If we go to my charts here, you can see what I mean. This is like, it's forming a consolidation, but if you go long here, you most likely get wrecked pretty fast.
Love that, yeah.
I'm not gonna do it. For now.
Yeah, for now.
Let's see. Do we have some questions in the chat? Let's see.
Let's see.
So, before you leave, Nick, because, I know we'll talk a little bit. We got a little bit afterwards, but, you're going to leave us again tomorrow. What the hell, bro?
I know.
Well, here's the thing, okay? I'm going to run you through this. It's my best friend's wedding, and I am his best man at the wedding. So it's very...
And?
It is very obvious why I'm leaving and why I'm not here tomorrow. And here comes the second fact that is very important to know. Like, you two are doing such a great job, such a phenomenal job. Like, I'm not even.
Oh, now he's gonna go kiss ass on us, Miriam.
I'm just probably gonna, I don't know, leave for the next 2-3 months, and then I'll be back. Let's see.
By the way, I appreciate Miriam's response to that, and I would have the same one if you like. Well, I've got major surgery tomorrow, and
so.
Yeah, no, but for real, it's a wedding of my best friend. I'm his best man, so that's why I'm not here. Leah just said, "No, Nick, do it. It's your system. Stick to it." Yes, it's my system to take bull flags, but not when they're in an area where literally a reversal is pre-programmed, almost programmed, almost guaranteed. So that's why I don't do it. It's still, even if you have a system, you should always have a system for when to not stick to your system, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, the chat's just trying to enable you, man. They really
Yeah.
are. Like, do it
They
now.
just want to see us trade. They just want to
Take
see
the
us
trade
trade.
now. Trade.
Just take like one micro with like
You have
a
to do it.
2-point stop.
Oh wow. This is kind of important still. Like Tick Stack Dough is asking, if you have an account you paid for and can't access at Tradeify, how would you go about getting help? Make sure to go to the help center on Discord and create a ticket there, or on the website. I believe you can create a ticket as well. Not 100% sure, but definitely go on the website and create a ticket. Wish
Yeah, and
said,
again, as
what's
we
your
said,
white
guys,
shirt?
the dashboard, they're doing some work on the dashboard today, guys, so it may be available and unavailable off and on. There's a lot of big things coming at Tradeify, so there's a lot of things that need to be going on behind the scenes right now to get us ready for that. Like, I mean, for example, guys, you know, most of you guys saw this show for the first time on that Thursday that we started. We'd been, you know, just the hosts had been working for almost a month before that. And I know that like the background team with Drew and Nick and Brett had been working for weeks or even months before that. So guys, there's a lot of things behind the scenes as Tradeify. You know, I thought Vinny did a great job of explaining. They grew so fast because, you know, they were reliable and doing things the right way, but they grew so fast. They're doing things that now that they weren't planning on doing for 2, 3, 4 years down the line because they want to better serve you guys as customers. So there's a lot of little things going on behind the scenes, and just stay tuned with us.
Hey, and Nasdaq is
trade.
ripping now. She's going. She's but
You should-
I can't complain. I
Leia,
can't
we need
complain.
to listen to you more
I
often.
can't complain at all. I got 50
wow,
points
there's
today.
6,000.
Yeah, there it would be. That's my TP hit. But I literally made 50 points today during London session, so there's no reason for me to chase anything right now. Even though I know you guys would love to see trades more, and you will see more trades, that's for sure. My London session today was too good to fuck it up now.
There you go. I love that. Well, we just like ticked at the 6,000 level. We're still getting some sellers in this area that are trying to defend. They're trying to defend. They keep stepping in here. Let's see if we can actually sustain above the 6,000 on ES. I think if we do, there we go. We're clearing those orders.
There it is.
We're gonna get up to fill the rest of this wick at 6,016. I think we'll end up filling this wick here. And then possibly breaking out, guys. I'm actually, you know, I'm rooting for the Bulls here. I'm actually rooting for the Bulls. So let's see if we get this move. But unfortunately, we're probably not going to be on when we get this move because we're actually going to be wrapping up in a bit here. But if you guys have any more questions for us, or you know what, I actually want to know too, who was green today? Who kind of struggled today? I kind of want to hear in the chat how you guys did today. It was a really tough day, I'm not gonna lie. So I'm interested to hear what the chat did or how the chat did.
And while you guys are doing that, I've seen a few questions, most recently from Risk It there on Project X. Vinny addressed that yesterday, so I would encourage you to go back and watch. Vinny talked a lot about his trading, but he also talked about what's going on behind the scenes in Tradeify and what's coming in the next few months. I highly encourage you to go to yesterday's show once we're off stream here in about 10 minutes and go watch the interview with Vinny /Gandalf. He is the COO here at Tradeify. So yeah, go check that out because he answers all those questions.
I see Click, another regular here, is asking, can we have your breakdown of that possible bull flag, SL and TP? So here's how I would have played this. I would have waited, since we're now in a bit of a lower volume situation, at least compared to 9:30 open, right? This is more in the London session area, obviously still way more volume, but here's how I play this. So I drew my bull flag, right? I would have waited for the candle close outside of the bull flag and then would have entered the long pretty much here on that next candle open. Stop loss is always below the bull flag. So in this case, that would be right here at the previous month high for 13.5 point stop loss. And I would usually go for anything between 25 to 30 points. So if we went for a 30 pointer, we would have gotten that very fast actually on this one. In this case, most likely I would have played, looking at the 5, is that, wait, you have the 5-minute open or 15-minute? Yeah, 5-minute. It doesn't matter though. I would have looked at this wick here, which would have sat at 25 points. So most likely I would have played it for 25 because I wouldn't have wanted to risk getting rejection at that wick. But that would have been the play that I was looking for. But anyways, didn't take it, was too afraid of a reversal after making 50 points in London session. So didn't want to mess it up.
This looks good. I actually really like this for a continuation. I mean, we're holding this 6,000 level. Next level up is, of course, going to be the 616 area that we hit in the pre-market. So if you guys are long, congratulations for catching this move up. I know I read somewhere that I believe someone was in trade long from this 59.83 area. So congratulations for hitting this. If you didn't make a green trade today, or if you stayed out of the market, or if you were red, it's absolutely okay, right? Like, these are the sort of days where you take as a lesson, right? You go back and review what it was that, you know, may have impacted you, whether it was something personal, or if you over traded, or, you know, you just got stuck in something, right? And it's just something to review, right? Tomorrow's a new day. It's Full Port Friday, if you guys don't know. I'm just kidding. But we will be, you know, we're still open for the markets tomorrow, and you don't even have to trade tomorrow if you don't want to, right? You can always just wait until the next week, and, you know, just go from there. I did hear Joker 13 says, I took a winner and I was too scared to enter into my second trade, even though everything was looking perfect strategy wise. How do you handle winners and going into second trades without fear? I think this is something that, you know, you just have to look at and say, number one, is this a trade that I would take day in and day out, whether or not I did take a win or I did take a loss? I think, you know, we kind of spoke about this earlier of, if you do have a winner for the day, you can size down. You know, it doesn't mean that you have to make this next banger trade on the next one. But ask yourself, number one, is this a trade that I would take tomorrow, the next day, no matter what? And if the answer is yes, go ahead and take it. But if you're nervous about it in any way, size down. You don't have to be in a full size position. Making sure that, you know, you're set up for the risk, and you're not, you know, going into it with this expectation of a big win. So, you know, I think building confidence as a trader is one of the hardest things to do. And it just starts with asking yourself, is this something that I would take day in and day out? And does this fit my strategy? You know, whether or not you have like 3 criteria or 2 criteria you have to hit. That's just, you know, you just have to ask yourself that and go for it. You know, Nick had a great setup here. He didn't necessarily like the fact that we were sitting above here, but, you know, that's his realm and that's his strategy. So, but would he take it on another trade? I think the answer is yes. But
absolutely.
again, he made a good trade earlier, and he just didn't really want to put on risk. So it's just kind of asking yourself case by case what it is that will keep you from entering a trade.
Yeah,
also,
absolutely.
Speaking of great setups and speaking of P&L as well, I wonder what the chat thinks, guys. Should we, because right now you always see the no position under our name, right, in the top bar of the stream. You also see realized profit or realized losses. Do you want us to have the profit of our entire day in there? Like, even if, for example, if I trade London session, that's not in there right now. Do you want to see that profit or loss as well? Or do you just want to see the profit and loss that we have during Tradeify TV? Let us know in the chat really quick what you would prefer.
Also, I do want to ask the question, Nick, are you like, so you're the best man in this wedding tomorrow? Like,
yes.
Are you doing that wearing a white tee?
Well, I'm gonna wear a white button-up shirt and a suit, so yes and no.
Okay, if you're in a suit, now we need photos. We need photos for proof of that. Absolutely not.
I'll send you some.
Picture it didn't happen.
All right, I'll send you some. Maybe I can send some for tomorrow's stream. Even maybe it's gonna be on Monday. Let's see.
I love it.
Okay, people are saying yes, entire day.
All right, guys. So
during Tradeify, well, they're saying both.
Yeah.
Whatever. We're gonna do
a poll on that tomorrow.
Let's see what Brett loves more. There you go. Yeah, it's like 50-50. Right. Leah is right.
Let's catch up. Yeah, the chat's kind of split. Hey, Andre in the chat, love you, brother. Thanks for watching.
Just blocked him. Sorry.
No, let him go. I gotta pick up my
all right.
shoes from his mom's
Oh,
house.
we do have
later
to poll
anyway,
now.
so.
We do have to poll. Full day or only while live? Let's see.
Yeah, there
Right
we
now
go.
it's sitting 60%, 40. It's pretty even.
And the thing is too, I think it's only fair too, if we do show our full P&Ls, to actually review the trades that we did take. You know, if it wasn't completely on the stream, because obviously, you know, we are only on here for a couple hours every single day, and there's so much obviously day to be had in the trading world. So the P&Ls reflected don't necessarily reflect like our whole trading you know, day. You know, we could be more down or more up. Usually we're not more down, but you know, it could be if we are down on the day, we could have more of a profit later on in the day as well. So that's something else to consider.
We're currently sitting 58% full
right,
day
guys.
and 42% only while live.
All right.
Okay. Yeah, so split. Maybe we'll. Yeah, I like Miriam's idea there. We'll break down some of the stuff that we do. Speaking of breaking down some of the stuff that we do, guys, we are coming to the end of today's stream, so we're gonna say goodbye to Nick for the week. Mary Mine will be back tomorrow. I would not be shocked if a certain CEO pops up on the show tomorrow if he's feeling up to it. But outside of that, guys, it is going to be full port Friday. I mean, it's a regular Friday. We're not gonna, but we're definitely going to be able to get into some good trending markets, I think, with the news action today. So that's it, guys, for our stream here. I'm going to kick it to Nick to say goodbye for the week, and he'll kick it to the well of positivity that is Miriam that takes us home on every single stream. So thanks for watching today, guys. Nick, take us home.
Yeah, as usual. Thank you guys so much for being here. I'm really appreciate you all tuning in every single day. I see so many regulars now. It's great to have you on. It's great to see the positivity in the chat. It's great to see you guys asking questions, trusting us. We're giving you obviously all the experience that we can give you. Like whatever we learned in the past, we give to you, so you don't have to go through the same. You can just accelerate your learning. We always have giveaways for you. So thanks for participating in that too, and showing love to our guests. So as usual, for me, the week is over, but these two nice folks, Matt and Miriam, they're going to obviously do Tradeify TV tomorrow. But yeah, let's hand it over to our one and only Matcha Mommy and today's session.
Well, it's going to take me a minute to get used to that outro, but we appreciate you guys for joining with us today, for listening to Tanja. You guys obviously know that she brought so much insight, and we're just so excited that you guys want to actually be with us every single morning and listen to us. And if any way we can provide value to you guys, obviously you can always reach out to us. I'm at the Curly Trader. Matt and Nick can put their ats in the chat as well. But as always, guys, I'm going to end it with the matcha mantra. Go tell someone you love them today. Always practice gratitude. Go on your hot girl walk. If you didn't drink your matcha, then obviously you know what to do. But you know what? Always make sure that you understand that trading is not just about making money. It is living for the people and the lifestyle that you want to live, and that's going to give you fulfillment. So make sure that you always practice gratitude. We will see you guys bright and early tomorrow morning, 8:30 Eastern. We love you guys. Go be great.
See you guys.